All right. Late night boxing talks. Day before the big fight, the big Dillian White, Tyson Fury. Heavyweight showdown for the WBC title. I'm going to have some questions for the panelists. What's goody Dora? What's goody Butcher's Bucket? Hey! Yeah, I mean, I was going to prepare a video, the way I normally do the weekend before a big fight, but I decided to just wing it and just get people's thoughts. I want to gauge how people are feeling, what they would like to happen versus what they think will happen, and just beyond, because this has been a very messy 2 weeks in the sport of boxing. It really has. As we speak, there are content creators here on YouTube trying to explain why Errol, who's supposed to be this big cash cow, why he only sold 240,000 pay-per-view buys, if that, because the numbers they typically put out there aren't even the real numbers. They always round them up just a little bit. They always fudge them just a little bit. If they tell you it did 240, probably did 200. If they tell you it did 200, probably did 170. That's usually how it go. Leo was good. Jay was good. Dunko was good. Tyria was good. Polchek was good. I mean? Like, they just, you know what it is? It's that they're embarrassed. It really is that they're embarrassed, because those content creators, they basically got themselves a revenue stream off of lying to people. And you know what they say about lies? You don't want to lie, because then you got to tell another lie right after that. And then before you know it, you're just going to have to keep lying about every fucking thing. So when you spend all that time perpetrating lies, you're going to look crazy, and you're going to have to explain it. No credible sources are reporting numbers like 300,000 or 500,000. It ain't nothing but a bunch of old ass dudes that they don't necessarily have the talent to make original content. So what they do is they sensationalize shit and make shit up. Because it's like, bruh, who you really expect to believe that shit sold 500,000 pay-per-view buys? Who do you think believes that? Not motherfuckers that pay for boxing? Y'all give me 1 second, because my family over here is screaming in the background. Give me 1 second. And yeah, yo, I was goody Jay. Appreciate that, Jay. Damn, Jules, you killing it. Yeah, B, I got the jacket selection. I'm the plaid master, yo. Plaid, just anything plaid and anything flannel. That's my handle. My man Alexis is in the building. Yo, I'm gonna shoot Alexis a link real quick. I don't want 10 people to join the panel yet. I want to shoot Alexis a link real quick. Chop it up with Alexis real quick, fit ass. Lexus, click the link if you free. And yeah, yo, I seen the Blue Blood dude. This dude was really sitting there talking about illegal streaming figures. I'm like, bro, your audience just must be like the dumbest audience on the planet. And what? It's for Alexis, bro. It's for Alexis. Click the link, Alexis. But yeah, your audience must just be a bunch of like 7-layer losers and morons that they really listen to this shit, and they really think that like they hearing like some like, really, fam? Y'all think that fight, if Ugas could not do 300,000 bars with Manny Pacquiao, why would he do more than that with Spence? That's the question that I had ahead of the fight, that this same dude, Manny Pacquiao, put up his worst numbers with this dude. So what are the odds that Errol Spence, that is not as well known as Manny and is not as beloved as Manny, what are the odds that he's going to do better numbers than Manny did with this same dude that don't even have a following? And really, if I'm being real, like if I'm just telling you what I think anecdotally, I don't believe the real number's 240. That's a baseline number. Every fucking pay-per-view y'all put out now is 250, 240, 225. I was good, Alexis in the building.
Yo, dímelo cantando, mi pana.
¿Qué opinas usted de estos números del Errol Spence Jr. con el cubano? What do you think about that shit, yo? Dime lo que piensa.
I think he did about 200,000, And the thing about it is that a lot of people, I don't know about you, Jules, I don't even wait for numbers to come out or like that. I go by, like we were talking about before, like the buzz in the air, and this fight happened, and it was a good fight. I haven't met anybody aside from the people that are on these boxing pages and shit like that even talked about this. Like nobody's talking about this fight. Nobody mentions, there was a good fight the other day. No, nobody.
Te voy a decir, La Noche, this is one of my earliest memories as a boxing fan and as a child. One of my earliest memories, el día de Camacho versus Chávez. El bloque entero hablando de esa fucking pelea. La semana entera hablando de esa fucking pelea. Everybody went up to the neighbor's house, they bought the fight or whatever. El bloque entero ahí watching the fucking fight, Chávez versus Camacho. That's when you know que cuando la gente están hablando, es que tú sabes, because it really is word on the street. Y que cuando tú ves que nadie en la calle conoce a este tipo, ellos no conocen. No, eso no es para decir cosa mala de Errol Spence. Es que it's the truth, bro. They don't know him on the street. They'll know Manny. Yeah, they'll know Manny. They'll know Canelo. Like, I met people that I was surprised that they actually knew who Canelo was. And like you said, I've actually met people that know who Ryan Garcia. Like, really, you know Ryan Garcia? Yeah, that's that Kitty Bucks. Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But Spence, nah, bro. Y mamá lo Uga. ¿Quién conoce a Uga, man? Except his parents.
That's what's up, man. And the thing about that, Jules, man, you mentioned about Ryan Garcia, and I think I told you the story before, man.
Mm-hmm.
In the suburbs out in New York, Jersey, whatever. Kid comes out talking to his parents about Ryan Garcia because Ryan Garcia has that crossover appeal, and we don't even have a conversation with the people who would follow him. Like, we're not in touch of that. But as far as and I know that people are going to argue that times have changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times have changed. People are stealing. People are streaming this and that and the other. Bottom line is that even when somebody doesn't buy the fight, right? Even if somebody doesn't buy the fight, watch the fight the night of, if the fight is good enough, if enough people watch it, it trickles down and conversations happen just about, you missed a good fight.
Te voy a decir esto.
You know what I'm saying? That's not even happening.
Te voy a decir esto. I don't know that I want to say that times changed, because si tú ves como las cosas son en Inglaterra with their fighters, the buzz that we feel is missing, they feel it. They feel it. El día con, por ejemplo, Lee Wood versus Mick Conlan to a guy in America probably didn't mean much. Mm-hmm. Pero si tú estabas en la calle allá, no, that fight was a big fight, and it turned out to be a great fucking fight. Pero here, if in other words, the gauge for the health of the sport is not America, because other places are having big fights. Golovkin versus Murata, if you ask one of these morons in a boxing group, that shit ain't about nothing. Hey, all I know is mad motherfucking Japanese motherfuckers. Mad, more than the fights that you like, with the fighters that you like, more Japanese turned out for that and spent breath for that. For Lee Wood versus Mick Conlan, all I know is, them UK cats showed up and showed out for that. Where you still trying to tell me that Spence is this, that, and the third, all I'm saying is, that's regular over there. That's Reggie. Like 20,000 for, that's Reggie, B. Oh, Spence did 39. Boo fucking who? Fucking Tyson Fury and Dillian White, who you say ain't shit. They got damn near 100,000 people in Wembley. Damn near 100,000.
You know who you could compare this to? Remember the movie Juice?
Yeah.
All right. So remember when the DJ in Juice and the big diss with people are like, oh yeah, you local.
Yeah.
And then there's the bigger. That's why Errol Spence is. He's local.
Y mira, eso no
they bought the 200,000.
Yo, Alexis, your signal went out. Say it again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that those 200,000 at least 150,000 of that probably came from friends and family in Texas. Or the people that follow him in Texas. A lot of that came from Texas.
I'm convinced that Al Heyman probably forced his staff members to purchase the fight. I'm convinced. Like, you have to, like, when we do a pay-per-view, tú lo tienes que comprar y tú tienes que enseñar pruebas because he's. I never forgot that Lou DiBella once described Al Heyman as a control freak. And that's where I got that perception from, because the way people describe you, it got to be a reason that they said that. And I remember it was approximately 2.5 years ago, maybe 3. He described him as a control freak. He wasn't trashing him, but that is how he described him. And I'm like, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. With everything I'm seeing, that makes sense. So when I see, look, Spence, you cool, you local, you know, you get local bread. You got a local following, but what I see is, bro, you can't crack 300,000. You're not a star. If you a star, you should be able to do that. You should be able to do that.
No, and he's not any more of a bigger star than Crawford is. So to that extent, I can see why Crawford might argue percentages and such. But if you don't mind me just touching upon this, man, because I just feel like kind of it's the right time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what gave Crawford leverage in that negotiation of even asking for 50% would be the backing he had behind him.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
That's what gave him leverage in the negotiation to even approach and ask for 50%. It wasn't his name recognition over Spence, although you might argue that you may find that he was on the pound for pound list longer than Spence, and you might think that he is a better name, but that's a hard one to argue. But as far as the crew he had backing him and the ESPN's vast reach was what gave him any argument for the 50%, and that's gone.
Pero también fue el dinero, porque y yo lo dije, tú lo dijiste, y yo lo dije muchos años. Mira, ese muchacho en ESPN, he is making the kind of money that they have to go on pay-per-view to get. He's getting that on a regular basis. Now, if you look at the reported purses for this past weekend's fight, I'm not an idiot. I know that Spence got more than $1.5 million, but I'm saying that $1.5 million is not the guarantee of a fucking star.
No.
It's not the guarantee of if you a star the way they say you a star, why would they only guarantee you 1.5 and Canelo get 40 up front from your man? Your man guarantees Canelo more money than he guarantee you.
From your man, you're supposed to be this and that and the third. Why can't he guarantee you at least the 6 that Crawford gets guaranteed? But really, if Canelo's getting 40 and you like the next man up in the PBC land, you should be guaranteed 10.
That's what I was going to say. To me, for me to know that, because, they could play it differently. Maybe they say, well, we're going to give you a small guarantee because we're expecting the pay-per-view to do this, so you'll get your money from the upside. I can understand that. It's fucking business, bro. It's different ways you could do it. And really, that's the way they used to do it in the old days. They didn't give guys these big-ass guarantees. They give you a low base, and the rest is going to come from the upside, so it's minimal risk. But when you guarantee a lot of money, it's a lot of risk. Bang. So I'm like, yo, I can understand. But don't sit here telling me with no 240, which we all know it didn't do that anyway. But I'm running with it. Like, all right, I'm going to just say for face value, it did 240. Está bien, 240. 240, 1.5 million guaranteed. You are not a star. You make them money, though. What I see is that you make them money, but you make them money on a very small scale, because there's minimal risks associated with putting on one of your shows. Yo, shut up! That's my kids screaming in the background.
But, the other thing is, let's say, because you actually talked about this with the Dillian White case, but let's not veer off into that. The people that argue that, oh, well, that's not his guarantee, and he's going to make much more than, he's going to make more than that, his guarantee. I want to know, how much more?
Exactly.
How much more? How much more? How much more can you realistically make above that 1.5 million? I'm saying in the range another 2 million, maybe.
That's what I was gonna say, because like I watched it was T Street Controversy. I believe he's the one that posted it on Twitter.
Right.
He posted Blue Blood Sports talking about, you know, what the pay-per-view grossed, as if Arrow is gonna take home all the gate money and
Right.
all and it's a grown. What killed me is, yo, this is a grown man saying that. Like, oh, so you think Showtime, they just put on pay-per-views to be putting
for Earl's
on
benefit?
Para nosotros.
Earl, here's the money. Let us know what we could have.
Because they not.
Earl takes the money and he goes, yeah, this for you and this. No, it ain't like that, man.
Yeah, I'm sick because they're not gonna take. My understanding is this: about 2 years ago, I believe it was in 2020. I remember reading the story that Al Heyman had entered into some kind of deal with the distributors of the pay-per-views, and what I got from that is, oh, so you're trying to get a discount? You know what I mean? Because if it's the other way,
package deal.
Exactly. If it's the other way, you're probably going to get 50% of the shit taken by them. But if you jump in a bed with them, it's a little less. It might be like 30 or closer to 40. But rest assured, why in God's green earth would you think that a fighter is going to take home the bulk of the cash? Is he paying for the bulk of the event? Because that's the only way it will work that way. If Errol is coming out of pocket for all of this, right? You the one orchestrating this. You're the event coordinator. Yeah, then maybe you'd get most of the proceeds. But last I checked, it's TGB and Al Heyman and Showtime doing all of this, right? All right, so yeah, they're going to get their cut because ain't nobody out here doing pay-per-views just to be doing pay-per-views. Where the fuck they do that at? So if it brought in, I think he said it brought in, you know, when he crunched the numbers or whatever it is, he said he said 18 million. And you think Errol's taking home most of that 8? I don't think he's taking half of that 18 million home.
My man, the undercards have to get paid. The production cost comes out of that. The distributors get paid. It's a whole lot
the team that is literally with and this is how I know that, like, esta gente, they never done just puro nada en su vida. Because I'm like, the guy holding the camera standing at the corner of the ring, you think he's doing that for free? Who do you think is paying for that? That big mounted camera that, you know, it shoots the overview of the ring. You think this stuff is free? Like, everything costs. Literally, everything costs. Everything. Everybody that's there. Every security, every staff member, every production and production assistant, every cameraman, every gaffer, your Jim Gray, or your people calling the fight. All of that costs, bro.
Exactly.
All of it.
There's gross and then there's net. And he's acting like, you know, it's ridiculous. The same thing, the same story happened with the Mikey Garcia fight.
Yep.
The Mikey Garcia fight that supposed to have made sold 400,000. Whatever. There was a lot more buzz about that fight than this.
There was.
But at the end of the day, people think that, you know, that he got $8 million for that fight, and what it was that $8 million split $4 million and $4 million. $8 million was the split. That's what they split. 50-50 with Mikey Garcia, because Mikey Garcia was in Texas and actually brought these Mexicans.
Pero nota que the guaranteed purses to the fighters for the Mikey Garcia fight 3 years ago are bigger than the guarantees you're getting now. And you still have people like, I'm not saying that's wrong. ¿Cómo es posible?
Right.
Diciéndome a mí que the guarantees for that fight 3 years ago are bigger than the guarantees you're getting now. The numbers you put up with that fight were bigger than the numbers you're putting up now. Even the tickets, I think they brought in about 50,000 people with that fight. Okay, this fight wasn't 50,000, it was 39. That was the announced attendance. So you're literally bringing in less money, generating less money, being guaranteed less money. Where is he a star, bro? In what way?
Do you know offhand what was the guarantee for that fight?
I'll look it up. I used to know it. I'll look it up. I know it was around 3 and 4.
So here's the embarrassing point. Here's the embarrassing part, and I really don't think Bud Crawford understands this. Okay. Bud Crawford never took a step back from the moment he cashed his first million against Gamboa, I believe it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
It went from 1 million, then 1.5 million, then 2 million, and 2.5 million against that guy in Dongo, right? And so on and so. Then he crept up into the 3 and 3.5s against Horn.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then
Mm-hmm.
from Horn he went up to the 4 millions against that dude Jose Benavides, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's 5 millions against 5 and 5.5 million against Amir Khan and Brooke. And
yo te lo voy a enseñar ahora, que I got it right here, para que la gente no crea que yo soy embustero. I'm gonna show you right now. This is the guarantee. It's like if you have common sense and you just have some mild understanding of how all of this works, you know that Errol Spence, for example, he's not the kind of fighter, doesn't put up the kind of numbers where you can justify guaranteeing him $10 million. To me, what I see is, at best, a $2 and $3 million fighter. You're not a $10 million fighter. How? Mm-hmm. For you to be a $10 million fighter, bro, your pay-per-view's got to be in the 500,000 realm on a regular, because they got to be willing to give you the 10 so that it's not risky, because they know you're good for it. Like Canelo, they could give him the 40 or whatever the fuck it is because they know he good for it. Like, yeah, he gonna bring that back. But you a $2-3 million fighter, bro. Cut it out.
And Canelo's not just the pay-per-view sales. It's the TV, the national TV revenues he gets, right? International TV. And Earl Spence ain't doing that. Neither was Crawford. Neither was Crawford. So I think that's something. The truth always comes out, man. The truth always comes out. If you have to follow the story and really understand all the information that's being given to you. And what really pisses me off, right? And I want to say this straight out, bro, that you get the Lance Pugmires of the world, a journalist who's supposed to give you objective information, tainting the information with, look at that. 3 million they guaranteed. Look at that. Purses guaranteed. Right? It says guaranteed. That's
the guarantees, bro. That's like we know that they're supposed to get something from the upside. We know that.
And that was the 8 million. The up million was they split the 2 million because it was a 50-50 split. So then they split the extra 2 million from the concession stands and shit. You're not gonna get a lot of money out of that.
No, you're not.
That's all it was. So they ended up, that's where they get the $8 million figure. And they think that they each got 8. No, they split 8. That's what they're, see how everything makes sense? And the thing is, I'm getting back with that Lance Pugmire. You are a boxing man. That's why boxing suffers. It suffers, and that's why so many of our boxing fans get into so much crap. It comes from the top in the information that we're getting, man. This Lance Pugmire, I don't understand why he felt compelled to volunteer his take on it. In my opinion, those are solid numbers. Like, what?
Isn't it? Look, this is the thing, right? What I'll say is this. I honestly believe that America as a nation is a bit more immature than some other places. Other places will point out their own flaws because that's how you correct things, by addressing them. If there's a problem,
exactly,
you address it. Whereas in America, everything is very showy. Everything is for show. Like, look, I'm just being objective, right? Errol Spence must be a good fighter because I want to see him fight Crawford. So he must be a good fighter if I want to see the fight. You know what I mean? I might not be a huge fan of Tyson Fury, for example, but he must be a good fighter if I want to see the fight. Now, Errol is not a big draw. That's okay. Most boxers are not a big draw, but he is somewhat of a draw. Where it becomes ridiculous is you have a guy who has separated himself in every way, shape, and form with his contemporaries, and that is Canelo. On your network, he put up 3 times the numbers that you did against an unknown fighter that's never been on pay-per-view and never been in a big fight, never been in there with a Manny Pacquiao, and he was still able to put up 800,000 pay-per-view buys reportedly, right? Because we're playing the reportedly game.
Right.
reportedly he put up 3 times as much as you did on your network. So what that tells me is you're not a star. And you got guys, they get real defensive. Like, let me read the super chat. Jules Heyman is a music man, and they used to buy albums off of artists. The numbers look during these yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Now you got guys like Ricky that they just can't accept that, like, yo, dog, you want to believe the hype, and you can, but don't expect me to believe it. I know better, bro. Like, don't expect me to believe it. 240,000 is not the year mark of a superstar, and it never was. It never was.
You know what? It's funny that you bring up, or that somebody brought up that Heyman is a music man, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the music business, back in the days, I don't know if you ever heard this phrase. There was something called turntable hits.
I remember that.
You know what that means?
Turntable. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Turntable hits were, and this is, I think this is gonna fuck you up, bro. This is like in the 50s and the payola and all that.
Okay.
So turntable hits were hits that songs that were played a lot, and they seemed to be big hits because they were played a lot. Mm-hmm. What happened is that the DJs were getting paid payola to play these songs, but they never got over. But it would be in your mind, it was sticky. Everybody hummed it and shit like that. But it didn't really turn into money because nobody was actually going to the record stores and buying fucking songs. Mm-hmm. Those are turntable hits, and that's what Earl Spence is. And a lot of these PBC fighters, they're turntable hits. They get a lot of noise and a lot of traction in social media and amongst boxing pages. You think that they are bigger stars because they are stars in their own little universe that we all share in this very niche community called boxing.
Exactly.
But they are not stars. They don't produce. They are not.
Te voy a hacerte una pregunta. Un parallel para lo que tú estás diciendo. En la 139 o la 138 tú tenías Dr. Jaque.
Remember him? You went to Dr. Hack.
Tú tenías Dr. Jaque y todo el mundo.
Don't tell me you went to Dr. Hack.
Ese tipo, ok, tú tenías Dr. Jaque. Y después en la 140 tú tenías Dr. Rivera. Y aunque Rivera fue, he had a newer practice and it was nicer and more streamlined, and there was even a dental office in there. Sin embargo,
everybody went to Dr. Jaque.
Dr. Jaque. And that's PBC, que todo el mundo está hablando de Dr. Rivera. Está bien que he got a new practice, so he's new and he's younger, but ain't nobody going over there.
His office was always full.
Right. Any time of day, any day of the week, Dr. Jaque is up to his elbows in sick people, bro. Any day. That's a star, bro. When you a star, you draw. Punto y aparte. When you a star, you fucking draw.
Wow, this dude went back. Yo, that was my pediatrician.
Bro, that was my fucking pediatrician, bro.
You know that his daughter's in business? Now, you don't know that because you're wherever you are. But, yeah, his daughter's in business and his, his sons and all that. You see Dr. Jaque is still there, bro. It's crazy. But go ahead.
No, pero see, it's the parallel. Okay, like, you got Blue Blood, right? And the basic explanation that he's giving is that because the illegal streaming figures are in the millions, that somehow that equates to stardom or star power, because there are so many illegal streaming figures, but you don't make any money off of that. It's like, do you actually need a basic education in economics? Nobody's making money off of illegal streaming figures. You're not elevated to star status because of illegal streaming figures. Like, if people don't care enough to buy your fight, but more people care enough to buy Canelo's fight, he's the star and you're not. It's simple. It doesn't have to be explained. Based on this, in a country of about 300 million, only 240,000 people cared to buy your fight. You're not a star. By any metric in boxing, no, you're not a star. And no, it's not relative because of inflation, because of no. During the pandemic, the UFC was putting up great numbers. During the pandemic, Tim Tszyu was down in Australia fighting in front of 15,000 fucking people, bro. And he didn't even have a belt. and he was putting up numbers. All right.
Right.
When you a star, when
Yo,
you a star, you a fucking star. Period.
Right.
You gonna draw and you gonna draw because you a star.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Tim Zoom, man. You definitely did. That's what you call having, backing. And like, I'm not the type that's going to hold it against the American fighter for not being able to produce that. You understand? But then again, I just get, you know what? I'm tired of people trying to insult my intelligence.
That
You
too.
understand?
That too.
Don't tell me that this is what it is when it's not that. Come on, man. No, forget that. You said it, you were at 3 million. You're guaranteed. You're supposed to go forward. You're supposed to go forward. At the very least, that should be your base. The fact that now you're being guaranteed 1.5 million speaks volumes about what they think about your potential and their ability to recover the money they're putting out for you.
And this is not a guy who's 22, 25, 29.
That's the other thing, Jules. That's the other thing, man. I mean, listen, I think I told you this before. I fucking sometimes I think about that stamp. Coño, a la BBC, coño, hay que respetarlo, man. Coño. Hay que respetarlo. They've created this thing, but you don't even think they age. My brother, nobody, when they talk about Crawford, is the aging. Crawford, will he get this fight? He hasn't crossed over yet. He hasn't been able, and they always mention his age as a negative. But Danny Garcia is in the same reel. Mikey Garcia, Bud,
Keith Thurman, todito.
The same class, but nobody is referring to the age. It's like they're forever young.
Yo, look, the one thing that they did, and I honestly believe that cycle of boxing, because, and I've said this many times, boxing happens in cycles, and this crop of guys, they're on the way out because the new kids are here. Virgil's one of the new kids, Jaron Ennis is one of the new kids, Rashidi Ellis, Alexis Rocha. This is the next wave of guys, Stanionis, Butaev to an extent.
You actually mentioned Rashidi Ellis?
Bueno, they signed him. That they did sign him. PBC signed him 2 weeks ago. So, and he is an unbeaten fighter. So,
how old is he? Because he's been around.
Bro, I think that dude is like 30 something. De verdad. Ese tipo, él no es jovencito. Vamos a ponerlo así. He's not like 23. Vamos a ponerlo así.
Listen, just not to deviate for too long, man. Rashidi Ellis, this was crazy. If you want to talk about Barnes racist and that is. If you really want to accuse somebody of racism, and that, I don't really fly that flag, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But come on. Rashidi Ellis beats Alex Rocha, right? He beats Alex Rocha, and Alex Rocha is the one that's getting the bump, is getting the, you know what I'm saying? They're pushing him. They pushed him forward, and Rashidi Ellis got stuck. Like they were mad at him for winning the fight.
Espera, porque this is why I don't fly that flag, because there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. I heard things that he was offered Virgil Ortiz. I heard he was offered Virgil, and I don't know how true it is. I just know that I heard it. He was offered Virgil Ortiz. He didn't want it, and it's like, bueno, maning, you have to remember where you are. If I entertain a scenario where you were offered Virgil Ortiz, okay, where do you fight? You fight at Golden Boy. You don't fight at PBC. You fight at Golden Boy. So that's the fight. If they offered you that, that's the fight for you, bro. Because look at where you at. You were Golden Boy. You signed with them. You know what I mean? You could have looked at what else is out there instead of, because are they really going to push you? We know the answer. No, they're not going to push you. So, but you or your manager, whoever, they made a decision to go with them, so it is what it is. And if they did, in fact, if they offered you Virgil, then you should have took it. Because
this is the thing that I'll just say about that, and I know the next person wants to talk. But as far as that Rashidi Ellis thing, even if they did offer that fight and he didn't take it, the thing is that I can also see that, dude, I just beat somebody that you put me in the ring that you wanted to build off of my name. I beat that guy. We're both your fighters. You're not going to now give me another fight to eat, get a nice easy win, look good. You're not putting me in fights for me to look good. You putting me in fights for me to get fucking beat. And
Pretty
back
much.
to back like that, that's you know, I can see
No,
why.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Pero es que yo, like, I don't know. Like, I think different people got different. I feel like different people look at things differently. If I paint myself into a corner, for example, if I paint myself into a corner and everything is fucked up, I'm gonna get myself out the corner. That's just that's what I have to do. So if that means 2 back-to-back shitty situations, oh, so be it. I painted myself into a corner. I have to deal with it. If I don't deal with it, if you think about it, he's been out for what, a year, 2 years? What was the benefit in that? Being out for 2 years? What was gained in that year or those 2 years where you didn't fight shit? Because I think he fought Alexis Rocha in 2019 or 2020. And it's like, bro, time is the one thing that when you lose it, you do not get it back.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Alejandro.
I was like discussing with this guy on YouTube. He was saying Virgil Ortiz could beat either Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and I was saying no, you're crazy. But he's saying like that Virgil Ortiz has the enough skills to beat the top welterweights, but I think he's not. He's still lacking like the experience. And for example, I think Edges Caballos almost drops him. Like not only dropped him because. Not only dropped him, he put him in a bad situation, like a wobbly legs, and he was like having big trouble. Imagine that instead of Caballiuskas, he was fighting Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. I think that could be a knockout. So I see a lot of people saying like Virgil Ortiz is ready for the top welterweights. I think no. I think he need like a Vanessian kind of fight, maybe be tested. But I don't know what you think, guys.
Yo voy a decir esto. Virgil is world class. I believe that Virgil is world class. He's ready to fight. He's not ready to win. He's ready to fight. That means that I believe he could give Spence problems for a while before he gets stopped. Or it's like, I don't want to quote a cliche, but styles make fights. That's not Ugas in front of you. That's Virgil. Virgil's big. He's strong. He's young. He's not battered. He's not war-torn. So if you get physical with him, he's going to get physical with you. And it's not just a question of can he take it? It's also a question of can you take it? Because if you get wild with him to where you want to sit in the pocket and trade, that's his calling card. That's what he want, and that's what he do. I see you are not ready for Crawford. Crawford stops this dude. He's too accurate. On the move, he's just too accurate. What you want to do is too basic. You want to stand in front of him, hunker down, sit on your punches, and let him go. He'll pick you apart if you try to do that to him. With Spence, he could get sucked into a war. We saw that in the Porter fight, that like, yeah, you could draw him out to trade punches, and that'll give you your chance to use your power. So I'm not going to say outright, yeah, Virgil will beat Spence. But I'll say that some fights are easier than others. Terence is not going to give you what you want. He's going to do the opposite of what you want to do. If you want to trade, I'm going to box. If you want to box, I'm going to trade. Fight the boxer, box the fighter. That's what I've seen him do over and over again. Spence's approach is more straightforward. I'm going to shoot my jab. I'm going to maintain this little space so that my punches got something on them. I'm going to maintain this pocket. I'm not going to smother it. I'm not going to collapse it. But I want to throw punches. I want to get you out. I want to throw. His approach is more simple and simplistic and basic. Not bad, but just easier to understand. You know what he wants to do. So I'm not as sold that Spence just washes him as I'm Crawford washes him. I legitimately see Virgil as top 10 to top 5 in the world. Why? Danny Garcia versus Virgil Ortiz. Who do I think wins the fight? Virgil Ortiz. Keith Thurman versus Virgil Ortiz. Who do I think wins the fight? Virgil Ortiz. David Avanesian versus Virgil Ortiz. Who do I think wins the fight? Virgil Ortiz. Alexis Rocha versus same. It's like, I don't think it's a lot of guys right now that beat that kid. You got to be in that 3 and that 4 to beat that kid.
So what I want to ask is, your name is Alejandro? Was his name?
Mm-hmm. Ese es mi nombre.
Okay. So what I want to ask Alejandro is this, because he said he phrased the question in a very interesting way for me, in that you said that you kind of like judge him by being caught by Kavislowskis. To me, it feels like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, dime si te estoy leyendo mal, pero tú pusiste eso como en una manera como que Kavislowskis no es nadie, right? Y si tú tuviste problemas con Kavislowskis, ¿cómo tú le vas a ganar a the Errol Spencers and the Crawfords? Eso es como lo que tú estás diciendo, ¿verdad? Algo así? Yes, right? So what I'm saying is this, right? For those who didn't speak Spanish, he phrased the question in a way where I felt that what he was saying is like you're judging Virgil Ortiz's ability to hang with the best because he struggled against Kavislowskis. But what I'm gonna ask Mr. Alejandro is like, what makes you think Kavislowskis is not himself worthy of better praise? Because the thing is that Kavislowskis lost a fight, or not lost a fight. Well, he should have lost a fight to a draw with that guy that gave him the problems. Or I think
Ray Robinson.
Ray Robinson.
Déjame decir esto because this is what I'm getting. Remember, Alejandro, Kavislowskis dropped Crawford. Fuck the ref. That was a knockdown. Fuck the ref.
Crawford.
If Kavislowskis is good enough to knock down Terrence Crawford, he's good. He's good. But at least he's world, because not just look. Porter was in there with Crawford. Did he drop him? Porter was in there with Crawford. He didn't drop him, but Kavislowskis did. So you got to get that man his props. Like, even though I don't think Kavislowskis will win a welterweight title, and I don't. You know what I mean?
No.
That doesn't mean that he's not a motherfucker. Like he's a motherfucker. I want Kavislowskis versus Stanionis. Give me that.
He's the level.
That would be a great fight.
Kavislowskis is the level probably right before getting to the above, the upper tier. But the thing is this: that people judge Kavislowskis on that performance against Ray Rice or Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
Ray Robinson fights in a certain way, a tough Philadelphia fighter, a pro's pro who was in there and knows how to be defensively.
He's a spoiler. He's a spoiler.
He's a spoiler. But if you fight Kavislowskis fight, he's going to be able to do to you what he did to Virgil Ortiz. And
what he did to Evanesian. What he did to Evanesian, because most people, he beat Evanesian.
Kavislowskis beat out. I didn't even know that. I don't remember that.
He beat Evanesian. Yeah, like he fight, bro. Fight.
So if you have a Spence who wants to fight that fight, you can't just dismiss a Kavislowskis.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why that's why my criticism of boxing fans go by name recognition
only.
You hear name recognition only.
Case in point, the dude in the comments, the dude in the comments really bought the narrative of Mikey was daring to be great. In his mind, beating Mikey Garcia, even though it's not even aging well, but in his mind, Spence beating Mikey at 147 is a credible win. Even in his mind, even after Sandor Martin outboxes Mikey Garcia.
And really outboxed him.
And remember, Mikey Garcia ducked Lomachenko on disputed fight to daring to be great, but that was like that you say it, Julius, it was a glorified loss.
It was a glorified loss.
He knew he was going to lose. He knew he was going to lose.
It was hiding in plain sight. And let me tell you something. I'm glad you bring it up. Hiding in plain sight. Because what he did was that he ripped the page from the originator, Amir Khan.
Yes.
Amir Khan, who was really slated, should have fought Kell Brook all those years ago. That was the fight to be made. He was going to make a lot of money. The UK wanted it. It was two big names, but Amir Khan understood this, that Kell Brook was always going to kick his ass. Right?
He knew that. He did know that.
Kell Brook was going to kick his ass. So he took a calculated thought, and it's worked out right for him.
It did
That's a fight
financially.
that he knew he always had in his pocket. The last big payday, always had in the big pocket, but he knew that if he would have gotten his ass kicked at that point by Kell Brook, he wouldn't have been able to make the money that he did against Canelo and the money that he did against Crawford and the money that he did coming down, because that kind of loss at that time would have precluded him from being able to get those big paydays down the line. The same shit that Mikey Garcia did. He knew Lomachenko was going to whip his ass.
He knew. Like,
He knew
let me read the super chat. Lance Pugmire just put out a virtue signaling article saying Fury is disgraceful for not answering Kinahan questions. American boxing media. Yeah, it's a joke, bro. It's a joke because if you have all these,
disgraceful.
Homie Ricky says Spence beating Mikey allowed Spence to continue to be a pay-per-view attraction, especially how he beat Mikey. Spence snatched them fans. How did he snatch those fans? This is what I mean. Like, I think that's a kid or something. Like, because I'm like, how you snatch his fans when you haven't been able to put up those numbers ever since?
Exactly. I just told you that they fucking demoted your paper. They cut your money.
Yeah, but he see, you know, this is what I mean. Like, he sees the same articles, the same numbers, the same viewing figures, the same gate attendance record. He sees all that shit and he's fucking blind. And what he's mad about is that I'm not blind. On nowhere in this planet is 240 more than 360. What fucking fans did he take? With Mikey, there was something like 55,000 people in attendance. You by yourself, 39,000. With Mikey, 360,000 pay-per-view sold, over 360. By yourself, 240. What fans did he take?
What a moron.
It's like,
moron, man.
I'm not trying to violate, but I'm like, listen.
But for example, Julius and Alexis. For example, you put Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford as the main event, and in the co-main event you put Germán Charlo versus David Benavides. How much pay-per-views do you think that event would make?
350,000.
That would be that's a good card.
I'll say this is what I'll say.
I think it's a good card. Let me
see esto. 350,000 para eso los muchachos is good because y'all not pay-per-view stars. Y'all don't get big purses. So for y'all to be in a fight that could potentially do 300 to 350,000, like if you do it right, you do it on the West Coast, you could sell, like, yeah, you could get 300 to 350,000 with that fight, and that's a good number for y'all because y'all not pay-per-view attractions.
Well, agrégale a Pitbull Cruz. At Pitbull Cruz.
También con Ryan Garcia. Pitbull Cruz con Ryan Garcia. That shit does numbers, bro. It like legit, alone, it does numbers.
Alone because of Ryan Garcia. I keep telling you, I know people get mad at me, but Ryan Garcia, I'm gonna try to explain this to you. I haven't. Ryan Garcia is the perfect combination of Jake Paul and a real fucking fighter, man. Yeah. Ryan Garcia taps into the Jake Paul market in the way that no other boxer taps into the Jake Paul market, bro. Ryan Garcia is a crossover attraction into himself. He's bringing people that wouldn't otherwise even be interested in turning on a fucking fight. And that's a whole other thing, man.
Oh, let me check. Guys, y'all cluttering the backstage part. Like, y'all not even letting Lady Chan on because it's like 10 of y'all back there. Like, y'all gotta let clear that shit up, yo. Go ahead, click it again. But yeah, like we talked about this, I think it was either yesterday or in the last live before that sometimes it doesn't boil down to the individual fighter. Sometimes it might boil down to the fight. The fight might be an attraction, even if the individual fighter or fighters are not. And a perfect example of that is a Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez fight. If you did Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez, you could do a very good gate with that. You could possibly do a very good pay-per-view so long as you keep the operational costs low. What that means is, look, I'm gonna guarantee you 1.5, Zerto, 1.5 for you, David, and then y'all make the rest off the upside. You know what I mean? If you do it like that, you could get money. And I feel if you advertise it properly, you could at minimum do 300 to 350,000 buys, which is good because y'all individually, people don't be watching y'all like that, but together y'all could get money.
Let me ask you, who was it?
Yes.
Who was it that he put on? He put David Benavidez against who?
Zerto Ramirez and light heavyweight, I assume, right? Because we know Zerto's not at super
Well,
middleweight
But
anymore.
Julius, you know something about Zurdo? He's
I
been
thought
like this.
Charlo. That's what he said. Charlo.
Yeah, Zurdo Ramirez has been like the eternal prospect.
No es verdad, ese tipo no quiere. Bueno, mira, el tipo, he's fighting Bosell, and I know what the move is because I know where Bosell is ranked in the WBA. El lío que tiene Zurdo, he was running around lying to people, diciendo que he's the mandatory. You weren't the mandatory. You're still not the mandatory. You have to fight Bosell to become that because you're not. I don't know why he told people that he's like, no, you're not. That shit con ese cubano. That shit was not a final eliminator. You not Bebo's mandatory. What are you talking about?
Por eso digo que es el prospecto eterno. He's the eternal prospect.
No, verdad.
La gente sigue pensando que Zurdo Ramírez tiene 23 años. Like Munguia. Munguia is 26 years old and he's still fighting like good fighters, but not title holders.
Let me school this Ricky guy because I'm like, I don't know who mans is this. He says Zerto versus Benavidez shouldn't be on pay-per-view. Neither are champions. If in case you haven't noticed, Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz are not champions. They were on pay-per-view. More before that, Ruiz versus Areola, they were on pay-per-view, not champions. Barrios versus Thurman, not champions. For those shitty trash ass fights, you could actually put Zerto and David in a fight and it will sell. Yeah, you'll do at least 300,000 with that. If you could actually put them joke ass fights on pay-per-view, you definitely could put that one on pay-per-view and you will make money.
Well, going back a little bit to Ryan versus Pitbull Cruz, in my opinion, I think Ryan beats Pitbull Cruz.
Easy.
Maybe.
I say easy.
If he can get under, because ese tipo pelea como like I like watching him fight. He's a fun guy, and he's from Mexico City, so he's from high altitude, which means he has a great gas tank. He can do that shit all night. I like that too. With Ryan, can you handle? Because Ryan has the right style, the right height, the right length, but are you durable enough that you could deal with somebody bringing you that much heat the whole fight? I don't know. I would love to find out, though. I would love to see that. But it's not going to happen. So, everybody, welcome.
He's saying that he wants to make that fight now.
It's
Ryan
not
Garcia he's a cat.
No. It's not on Ryan. It's on It's actually on Isaac's side. See, I don't believe for a second that Isaac is afraid of somebody like Ryan Garcia. But Sean Gibbons is not going to send him to the zone. That will not happen. They've already offered him $1 million to do the fight. And Sean Gibbons, who also used to manage Casimero until they split, he's not going to let Isaac Cruz go to the zone. And Ryan is the A side. We all know that. Like, if there's an A side here, it's fucking Ryan. He's not going to send him to be food for Ryan on the zone. He said, we want to do it as a pay-per-view on Showtime. Bro, you know damn good and well Golden Boy is not going to send you Ryan Garcia, so you don't want the fight, period. You don't want the fight.
Ron Katz says that it's not Gibbons that's the last word on that anyway. He says that it's Al Heyman.
Bueno, da igual, pero because Isaac Cruz is a Manny Pacquiao promotions fighter. Sean Gibbons is in charge of all of Manny Pacquiao's fighters under his promotional banner. And Sean Gibbons was the one doing all the talking when that was going on. It was Sean saying, no, we want to do it on a real platform. We want to do it on pay-per-view. This was several months ago, well, at least 2-3 months ago. And it was Sean doing all the talking. So to me, it's kind of obvious that Sean is not going to send his guy over there. Look, case in point, the guy that just stood in for Casimero, Sultan, on a Paul Butler, what was supposed to be Paul Butler versus Casimero on a Pro Bellum card, right? Sultan is a Manny Pacquiao promotions fighter. Who sent him over there? Sean Gibbons. So he can send his guys if he wants to. He doesn't. He's not going to do that. Not with Isaac. Not with Isaac.
Because he's a star right now.
I guess, right?
Because they're trying to put. You know what? They're trying to drag Ryan Garcia over to Showtime so they could do a pay-per-view with him.
Shit is crazy, yo.
Has Ryan Garcia ever been pay-per-view? Was the Luke Campbell?
No, that's the thing. He hasn't. He's never been on pay-per-view. He's not. But for what it's worth, I do believe that if you put him on pay-per-view, it would do some numbers. But he'll do numbers. But we have to use common sense. He's with Golden Boy, and Golden Boy is with DAZN. So none of that is gonna happen. None of it.
Yeah.
And Sean, the worst part is that Sean plays dumb on social media, but he knows that just as much as I or you. None of that shit is gonna happen. Like, ain't nobody gonna send Ryan to Showtime, fam. You even asking that is insulting people's intelligence. You really think Eric Gomez and Roberto Diaz gonna just send you Ryan for Isaac? Like, yeah, fuck it, yo, go. They wouldn't let you have Munguia. You think they're gonna let you have Ryan?
See. Exactly. Yeah. It makes no sense. It's more politics. Fuck it. What weight division doesn't have politics right now?
Exactly. I just want to trash Spence a little more to bother Ricky.
Yeah, mama. Come on.
So come on. So I'm gonna let Lady Chan in on the action. So damn, Chan, he did 360 3 years ago. What did he do this year? What did he do with this fight?
240. So they say.
Well, I don't know if the math is different in the UK. Just check me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But 240 in the UK, that's not more than 360, right?
No, it's less.
So what about so with Mikey, he did 55,000 people with Mikey. With Ugas, he did 39. In the UK, is 39 more than 55?
Nope.
All right, I gotta check. Let me check with Alexis for a second. Alexis, just check my math, please. Is 240 more than 360?
It certainly is. But what I find interesting is that if it wasn't for Ricky, we wouldn't be talking about Spence, which just goes to show how much of a non-issue he is. But let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot. No, I want to shoot him a link. I want the playback money. I got a lot of good playback money for
the RPMs.
I got a lot of good playback money. So I'm gonna open up a slot for you, Ricky. And I'm gonna school you a little bit more about how you be wrong about everything you say, because that playback money, is.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, and I just want everybody to be respectful and cordial, because I'm very big on being civil. We can have our debates and our discussions without name. Chan, you know what I mean?
Julius, Hamburguesa ask who you got for tomorrow, White or Fury?
Ay, mi hamburguesa, tanto tiempo que yo no veo esa gatica. De verdad yo no sé, porque el corazón mío está con Dillian White, pero a la misma vez Tyson Fury is a good boxer. He's a good boxer. Like for all his shit that we say, he has two ways of fighting a fight. He has two base styles, and depending on which one he uses, he can win on points in boring fashion.
You're with White and.
So I'm gonna ask Ricky, because Ricky's here now. Ricky, just explain it to me. How did he absorb Mikey's fans when 3 years later, less people are buying his fights?
Alrighty, so the Mikey versus Spence fight, this is why it was important, and this is why it was impactful for the career of Errol.
I didn't ask you that, Ricky. I asked you, you told me in the comments, you just told me in the comments that he absorbed the fans with that fight. That's what you said. I've been saying, let me finish, because I ain't done. I said in plain English, Errol Spence Jr.'s numbers are down since he debuted on pay-per-view with Mikey. And since fighting Mikey, he has not generated those same metrics with any fight that he's had. And you was refuting that, and I don't even know how you're refuting that, because the numbers are what the numbers are. You just told me that he absorbed Mikey's fans, right? So how did he do that? How did he do that if he's putting up less numbers every single fight from the Mikey fight?
Crickets.
It's just because I'm just trying to understand, like, if no fight, he been on pay-per-view 3 times since the Mikey Garcia fight. He had the Porter pay-per-view, the Danny Garcia pay-per-view, and now the Ugas pay-per-view. And the reported numbers, because that's all we're going off the reported numbers. That's what's out there. 240 is the reported number. Okay, with Porter, the reported number was 300,000 or a little over. Then with Danny, it was 250,000. Now with Ugas, it's 240,000. It's literally going down every fight. So how did he still, like, how? His numbers are down, aren't they? Or does that mean his numbers are up? Maybe my math is off.
No. So the numbers are down. I'll give you that point. That wasn't the point that I was.
But that was the point that I made, though. You the one that left me 15 paragraphs because I said the numbers are down. That was the point that I made. Right. The numbers are down.
So check this out. While the numbers are down, that does not negate the fact that he's still consistently averaging more.
Who debated that he's consistently? Who's debating that he is consistently putting up around 250? Because it wasn't me.
Okay, then. So even though it's still less, he's still consistently being.
Who is debating that he's consistently putting up 250? I didn't debate that. I know you're putting up less numbers.
If you just want to debate the little fact rather than seeing the grand scheme of things.
There is no grand scheme. There is no grand. Whose mic? Whose mic is doing that? Whoever's mic is scratching. I got you. Look. There is no debate. You creating it? No. There is no. Listen. There's no debate. I said his numbers from the time he debuted till now, they're less than what they were. That's a fact. That means in TV and media. You know what that means? That means your audience is shrinking. That's what that means. Literally, your audience is literally shrinking. When you debuted on pay-per-view, there were 55,000 people in attendance. Now it's less. It's 39. When you debuted on pay-per-view, 360,000 people bought it. Now it's less. It's less by over 100,000. It's only 240,000 that bought it this time. So if I say that his audience shrunk, where is the lie? Where is it?
Silent.
No, sorry, my bad. I don't know what you last said. I was having Wi-Fi issues.
I'll ask again. I said that and it's not even that I said, it's the truth. The reported buys for his debut are 360. 3 years later, after that debut, your buys are hovering around 240. Your numbers are down and your audience has shrunk. Where is the lie?
There is no lie. If you just want to debate that, then there's nothing to debate.
There is no debate. That's a fact.
Right. I agree. If you don't want to talk about the rest of his career being a success, then there's nothing to debate. I'm not going to debate.
See, you're creating things to debate based on things no one said. That's what you're doing. I'm talking about his numbers, and you want to talk about what direction he brushes his horse's hair. That's
or just the body of work. Or the body of work.
You're going back to the body of work after you wrote me 3. I want y'all to go back to the video that I uploaded this morning, go through the comments, and look at how many paragraphs he left me because I said Errol's numbers are down 3 years later.
It's a fact.
That's a fact. But so what
does bringing up? So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck does bringing up Lamont Peterson have to do with the fact that his numbers are down?
Okay, so I wasn't letting that argument down of the last time we had a conversation. I was just trying to continue the point, saying that Spence's body of work is just better than Josh Taylor's. So that's why I just fit Lamont
So
Peterson
when I'm talking about pay-per-view buys, you start talking about Josh Taylor.
Well, I just bring
Perspective.
everything in consideration, basically going and reiterating my
No,
point.
you're bringing things that have absolutely nothing to do with the fact that his numbers are down because you don't have an argument for his numbers being down. Even though you tried and it didn't work. You just told me 20 minutes ago that he took Mikey's fans. Oh, he took Mikey's fans, then why are his numbers down?
He took Mikey's fans. Why his numbers down?
Yeah,
Because at the end of the
you told me he took Mikey's fans, but ever since you ain't fought Mikey, you ain't did them numbers.
right, I would agree, because at the end of the day, it still takes two to tango, and Ugas is not as big of a threat or perceived threat, or as good or as popular as Mikey.
So in other words,
the fans still wanted to tune in to watch Spence. They just don't want to see against Ugas. Ugas is a relatively nobody, and he still
They
is a
don't want to
nobody.
see Spence with anyone. That's the whole point.
basics like.
So
Chin,
wait
I
a minute.
want-
So fans wanted to tune in to see who's the guy Canelo fought?
Plant.
Plant.
They still did like
Fans tuned in to see
800,000.
Plant.
Wait, but would you guys agree that
No.
Plant sold the
No.
hell out of that Canelo
No,
fight?
he didn't.
No.
Okay, so what were
Canelo sold it.
what was Canelo's fight? Well, the zone really
Dude.
doesn't release the numbers, so we can't really say, oh, what was the numbers that he generated?
When he fought Yildirim, the
But
most poorest
let's see.
fucking Mando, and no fault of Canelo, that was his Mando at the end of the day. That still surpassed fucking Spence's 2 pay-per-views put together. Come on, let's just be real here.
Yeah, because what he
Okay,
wants
but
to
I'm
do.
not
No,
trying to-
no. Listen.
Yeah.
Because I actually gave you several chances to start making sense. And what you want to do now is act like you have no common sense. Like, oh yeah, it was Plant. 800,000 people. Not because of Canelo. No, not
Yeah.
not him.
Not because of
Because of
pound
Plant.
No, right. So
Plant.
let me
Plant sold
let me
the
answer your
fight.
point.
Yeah, please.
Let me answer your point. So Caleb Plant brought a lot to the table.
What did he
most
bring?
of,
A
if
belt?
any,
No,
of
he didn't.
Canelo's-
No, he
well,
didn't.
Let
No,
me
he
ask.
didn't.
Let me state my reason why I say this. First and foremost, it's a significant fight for Canelo because he can be the first person to be undisputed in Mexico or in Latin America for that point. So that is significant. Without Caleb Plant, Canelo can't accomplish that. 2, the shit talking of Caleb Plant, right, is probably the best press conference ever since Erislandy Lara, when he interrupted Canelo. There hasn't been any press conference in Canelo's career that was as entertaining as Caleb Plant. From the smack to the face, the push, to the bleeding, to the vatos,
How comes
vatos,
with
chingazos,
Yildirim there
to
was
the
no? How comes
all
with
that
Yildirim
thing that
there
sold
was
a lot
there
of
was
fight.
no controversy, there was no hype in that press conference, but it still outsold everything.
Yeah.
How
Okay,
come?
so hold on. That was my second point. So the brashness, right, of Caleb Plant, the shit talking.
Okay, here's my point, because now you're just making shit up as you go along, and I can tell that's
those were the facts.
no.
That's
You're
what
just
happened.
no. What you're doing is you're attributing the sales to Caleb. Literally, that's what you're doing, and you're trying to find ways to rationalize the sales being driven by Caleb, which
And
is
not Canelo.
fucking ridiculous, and that shows that you're willing to argue any silly point, no matter how silly and stupid it sounds. Really, Caleb sold the fight, so it's not Canelo.
No. Again, yes, he did, because all Canelo said was, "Don't talk about my mom." The rest of the press conference was Caleb Plant rising to the occasion
And that's all
bringing
it
in
took.
new views. 3,
that's
he
all it
also
took.
brought in that little
know what,
Midwestern
Julius?
in the United States of America, which would be the white audience. He
You know
brought
what?
some fans along the
Not
way.
Midwestern,
Wait a
he's
minute,
What
Southern.
is he
by the
talking
way.
about, dog?
I'm
Like,
hearing him.
By the way.
I'm hearing him.
Am
I'm
I
hearing him.
those 3 points
And-
that I stated, are those not factual?
No, they're not.
they're not.
Okay,
No,
how
wait a
not?
minute.
No,
My
wait.
first point-
If let me champ this shit. If we're gonna stick to the facts, I got a question for you. Did you take a census of everybody that bought the fight to determine which fans were Caucasian and which fans were Mexican?
No, I don't think anybody did.
Then how are you telling me that's a fact?
But we can simply infer.
Answer the
that
question.
I'm
Answer the
trying- I will
question. Answer the
answer your
question. Because you jump from point to point and you think that I'm not going to keep up and hold you to what you're saying. You just told me that because Caleb is a white guy, he brought in the white audience. That's what you're telling me, right? Did you take
Absolutely.
a census to fact check that?
No, but we can infer that he brought over white fans
How can we infer
How?
that based on what?
because
He doesn't
he's
even
white.
act white.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, black fans.
His whole fandom is based on him acting black. What are you talking about?
No, I would agree. Same thing with like Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor still acts black and he still brings in a lot of white
Anyway,
fans.
you're going off on a tangent.
Like I don't know. Look. I'm gonna be real with you, right? This is one of them guys that he think because he could put together a sentence or two sentences, he's actually making a salient point.
Oh my God.
That's what it is. Because he hopscotching from invalid point to invalid point without defending the initial point that I asked him, which is why I brought him here. You told me that Spence took Mikey's fans, and I asked you directly, how did he take his fans if his numbers have been down ever since and he cannot duplicate that success?
Okay, for example, all right, let me ask. So to answer your question, this is how you. Okay, after he beat Mikey, who did he fight after?
Sean
Porter. And what were those pay-per-view numbers? 330K, right? Just
No.
about.
Around
So 330 is close to 360K,
No, it wasn't
is it? Wait.
It
Okay, let's say it's
330.
300.
It wasn't 330. I know the
wasn't
real number, and it
330.
wasn't
Let's
even
not say
3.
it's- Okay,
It
fine.
was in
It's
the
not 330.
200s. It never
Let's
hit
It
just
was
say it's
actually
around
277,000, but that's not.
Which is really about
277 is close about to 360. It's 360 factual. Like that's
How?
undisputed. You can't dispute
No,
that.
it's
Or is it
not.
around 325 that Mikey and Spence did?
Oh, God.
Because these
My
are
man.
just reported numbers. So it fluctuates. It can be close to that. So
Yeah,
after
it
that
can.
fight, wait.
Here are the facts.
gotta let it
Here
go.
are the facts. Here are
Julius,
the
you've said
facts.
the facts 20 times.
And I'm gonna say them again until he has nightmares about the facts. I'm gonna say the facts. You have not been able to duplicate the numbers you did with Mikey because you don't have the star power to do that on your own. That is a fact. If you did, you'd be doing that.
Exactly.
Okay, so in attendance, all right, in this last recent fight, Spence.
There were less
fighting-
people there than were there for the Mikey Garcia fight.
Agreed. So let's
There
say
were
there's about
20,000 less people there. 20,000
okay.
less.
So let me ask you this.
Or
because
about
I don't
close,
know.
15, 15.
Okay, I'm not privy to all the details, but was it capped at 40K, or was it still open arena, meaning they still could have allowed more fans to go in for that Spence fight?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay, I don't know
know.
either.
It wasn't a sellout. I know the capacity at AT&T is 80,000, and only 39,000 people showed up. They didn't
Okay.
sell out,
So
and
I'm not.
it
I'm
wasn't.
not
No
sure.
one said. And the other thing is, well, no.
Yeah.
No one said that they sold out the AT&T Stadium. That's the first thing. So I don't need to wonder if he sold it out. I know what the capacity is offhand. It's 80,000. Did you have 80,000 people there? No. All right, then you didn't sell out. Simple. You're making it complicated. You are doing that because Errol doesn't have the drawing power you want him to have. It's simple. You have not been in a pay-per-view that sold 360,000 buys since Mikey. You haven't. You have not had a fight that had 55,000 in attendance or whatever it was with Mike. You haven't duplicated that on your own. You know why? You don't have that kind of drawing power. Period.
He doesn't have that drawing power standalone because he still needs.
Well, what did I just say? I just said that you don't have that drawing power on your own.
Just because he doesn't have that drawing power on his own does not mean he's still not doing successful numbers.
Who said like bro? What are you arguing?
But
again,
who said that?
So check this out. Check this out, Jules. Again, I don't want to argue that point because there's nothing.
You're arguing points.
We're not trying.
No
I'm not trying to
one is
argue.
making. You are making up points to argue with on your own. On the video that I made, I said this guy's numbers are down from the time he fought Mikey till now. Not a single pay-per-view he's been in has put up those same numbers or that same attendance. And to that, he left me like 15 these shits is a mile long, bro. And I'm like, I don't like, why are you leaving me these paragraphs? Because I said that his numbers down. They are down.
Okay, so
that you could come on here and I agree with you. I agree with you.
I know.
It's not for you to agree with me. It's reality.
Right. But check this out, boss. In those comments, I also said fair point. Point taken. I didn't want to discuss that. I wanted to discuss other points. Did I or did I not say that in my comments?
What so you left, so when you hear me talk about pay-per-view numbers, you want to go back to Josh Taylor. This is what you're telling me, right? Just so I'm clear.
Well, I can't say that directly because there was other comments that led me to rebuttal somebody to bring up Josh Taylor.
But I'm not somebody. I'm asking you what you
Right.
what you
and
told
in your
me.
comments, I usually do a good job at somebody that is directly to them, not just to you and to everybody in the panel. It's like specifically.
Yeah, but
at
I
Virtuoso,
can't be. I can't be asked about what you told someone. Like I don't know what you told someone else,
Look,
bro.
I understand.
Can I ask you something?
Check this out. I understand, boss. But
wait, I'm gonna let Alexis go. Chandon had to go. Alexis, go.
When you say, because you said something about him being more accomplished than Josh Taylor, what do you base that on?
I didn't say that. I didn't say he was more accomplished. I said his road to becoming undisputed and the level of competition is better and tougher than Josh Taylor. I never said he was more accomplished.
How?
No, it's not.
Because his resume is tougher than Josh Taylor's.
Based on what?
How?
Because he has to fight more champions to become undisputed.
Has he fought more champions?
Hold on. 3 champions to become undisputed. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? How many champions?
How did he fight more champions to become undisputed?
When he's not undisputed.
Okay, so first and foremost, let's make that distinction. He's not undisputed. He's on the road to undisputed. So
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
he's not
clarify
there
that
yet.
because you're putting words in my mouth that I never said.
Okay, well, he's not there yet.
You did say that. No, wait. Let me mediate.
One.
Let me mediate. You literally just sat here and said his resume is better because he's fought more champions on road to undisputed. He hasn't fought more champions than Josh Taylor. Literally, he hasn't. And he's not undisputed. And it's taking him longer to do it.
Right. That's why I said to the road. He still needs Bud Crawford. And when he has that, he doesn't even need that right now. But when he does get that fight, it's going to be, you can't even dispute whose resume is near each other.
But he doesn't have it, and you're rating him as if he has it.
Exactly. Why are you making points that haven't happened yet?
Because it's gonna happen.
See,
no,
this is.
So,
I don't.
No,
yeah, like, see, no. Let me say this. I gotta turn the camera on for this. I gotta listen, bro. I'm 39 years old, right?
Yeah,
you're like, how old are you?
28.
You got to stop with the kid stuff, bro.
Yeah, you're too old.
Yeah,
how is that a kid?
It is. You want me to treat something as if it happened just because you like Errol. If I say he has not fought more champions than Josh Taylor, that's not my fucking opinion. That's a fact. He hasn't. Literally, Josh Taylor is undisputed. Errol is not. Josh Taylor has a Ring Magazine title. Errol has never touched a Ring Magazine title. Josh Taylor is a lineal champion. Errol is not a lineal champion, chose not to be a lineal champion by fighting everybody but the guy that would have got him that first. That's facts. It ain't one opinion in there.
Okay, so let me ask you that. I agree. So all the points that you said are valid. Let me go to this point. Why is Terrence Crawford the fight? Why is he regarded the number 2? Because of what he did at 140? What has he done at 147?
Julius, give it the rundown. He missed your last episode. To give him back the rundown of why.
Well, basically, Terrence Crawford is the fight because he is a 2-time lineal, 2-time Ring Magazine, 3-division, former undisputed, current reigning WBO champion. Right?
Okay.
That's one. He, unlike every fighter you fought that you won a belt from, he is a pound for pound fighter. Kell Brook was not, nor has he ever been. Sean Porter was not, nor has he ever been. Ugas was not, nor has he ever been. You never fought a pound for pound fighter. Well, at least you didn't win a belt from one. You fought a little guy, and guys like you keep trying to blow that out of proportion, but that's besides the point. You can't decide in your own mind whether it's a credible win or whether it was a cash fight. Yesterday, you said it was a cash fight. Today, you're trying to say it's a credible win, even though everybody keeps telling you, no, it's not. Nobody thought Mikey was going to win that fight. No one.
Okay, so let me go to your point. You just said everything that Bud has accomplished has been at the lower weights, not at 147.
Didn't I just say he's a 3-division champion,
right.
current reigning champion?
Hold
what
on.
you telling me? What are you telling me that? No. Wait. What are you? I have a simple question. What, you're telling me you rated Sean Porter higher than Terrence Crawford?
At the time when he fought Errol Spence, absolutely.
Then that's your. Oh no, wait! Don't say nothing. Then that's your problem. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're just structuring everything to make it look like Errol's lineal already when everyone knows that he's not. If you don't want to accept that, that is your problem. So everybody knows he's not lineal.
Right.
Everyone
Everybody
knows that.
I know that. But what
no, you don't.
Is,
no, you don't. You just told me you ranked Sean Porter ahead of Terrence Crawford
because of what he's done at 147 and who he beat.
No, so in other words, you telling me what, that in your mind, in your house, Spence versus Porter was for lineal?
I'm saying that I can see why it could be.
Who says it could be? Who says it could be besides you?
Well, let me tell you this, because of what he accomplished at 147.
What did he accomplish? Getting beat by Keith Thurman or getting beat by Kell Brook?
Okay, those two guys are very good welterweights.
No, those is accomplishments. Losing fights is accomplishments. Losing your belt, losing your belt to Kell Brook. Losing your belt to Kell Brook is an accomplishment. How do you sound? I'm gonna go to Alexis. Alexis, how does he sound? Alexis is preoccupied, Lady Chan. How does he sound? Losing the belt to Kell Brook was an accomplishment. What are your thoughts on that take?
Stupid.
Is Kell Brook not a good fighter? He's a great fighter.
Who said he's not? You telling me that losing your belt to Kell Brook is an accomplishment?
I'm not saying it's an accomplishment. I never.
You just said that, bro.
You said that.
You did.
What was my direct words?
You said, "Oh, I asked you what accomplishments he has." When he fought Kell Brook, he lost to Kell Brook.
Okay, just because he loses to Kell Brook doesn't mean what he has accomplished at welterweight is not.
What did he accomplish at welterweight?
Again, even though he lost to Keith Thurman and Kell Brook, he still beat a lot of good fighters. He beat Danny Garcia. He beat Ugas.
Who did Danny beat?
Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson.
That wasn't that was actually was at welterweight.
That was at welterweight.
That was a vacant belt, right?
No, that was
at 143.
That was at a catchweight. Yeah, that's when he ducked Postol. He ducked Postol for that fight. He paid that dude to step aside for that fight.
Yeah.
He fought Lamont Peterson at welterweight.
And did Lamont have a belt?
I'm not too sure if he beat David Evanesian for one.
Did he have a belt? I asked the question.
No.
Lamont had a belt, but they didn't fight for that belt because it was at 143.
Catch right, yeah.
Yeah, there was no. I mean, like, in other words, that's a rhetorical question. Here's what I'm doing in a nutshell. Danny didn't win a belt from nobody that was a champion. Danny never beat a solid welterweight. The only time he had a belt was when nobody was holding it. Initially, him and Guerrero went to the WBA to try to fight for Floyd's old belt. They were rejected because the fight is silly. Then they went to the WBC and they petitioned them and they let them fight for the vacant WBC title. You didn't beat no champions. You didn't beat nobody solid at welterweight. And we already had this conversation. We literally already had it.
Unless
Robert Guerrero had just gone life or death with Aaron Martinez. You wasn't even watching boxing when that happened. If you were, you would not be trying to sell me Robert Guerrero as being solid if you were actually watching boxing around that time.
Guerrero,
everybody knew he was over the hill. Everybody knew he was over the hill.
Robert Guerrero at the time when he fought Aaron Martinez, I think he lost that fight. But Robert Guerrero at 147, when we moved up after like 2 years of cancer with his wife, he fought Berto. Berto was a dude. He was all right at that time. Then he went 12 rounds. He got beat.
What does any of this have to do with Danny Garcia?
So I'm still saying that Danny still went about 12 rounds, I think the whole fight, with Robert Guerrero in a very entertaining, action-packed fight.
I didn't care, bro. I don't care if you were entertained.
So Robert Guerrero
what does any of that have to do with anything?
Because Robert Guerrero is still credible.
No, he
wasn't.
If he's fighting for a vacant belt, that means he's ranked in the WBC sanctioned body.
No, it doesn't. See, this is what I mean. Like, he jumps from point to point. For example, you know who fought for a vacant belt? Gervonta Davis against Jesus Cuellar at 135, not even 135, 130, even though Cuellar was coming off of 2 years of inactivity and a loss, they let him fight for a belt at 130. So fighting for a vacant title does not mean that you're ranked. That's the first lie right? Second, you wasn't watching boxing back then because everybody saw how Robert Guerrero looked with Aaron Martinez right before that, and he looked like a fucking old man. So why are you trying to beat me on the head to agree with you?
No, I agree with the fact that he lost or he looked like shit against Aaron Martinez. I think in
Then
that
why
fight,
are
he
you
also
trying
got
to tell
dropped.
me that when Danny fought him, it was credible? Then why are you trying to tell me that? Because I'm not talking about when Guerrero fought, but I said Danny and Guerrero and what happened right before the Danny Garcia fight. And you start talking about Berto. Is any of that changed that he looked like an old ass man with Aaron Martinez?
That does not change anything that he looked like an old ass man of Aaron Martinez. The only reason why I brought Berto was to give Robert Guerrero some respect for what he had accomplished at 147.
But
That's the only reason why I bring up Mayweather.
Who is talking about any of this shit?
No, because you're trying to say
Can't
Robert
stick to
Guerrero
one
ain't
topic.
shit, and I'm trying to say, well,
He
he was
wasn't
a
shit at
contender at
147.
147.
He wasn't shit. He wasn't shit.
He
And
wasn't
everybody
shit at
knows that. You got
147.
3
Everybody knows
people
that.
telling you the same thing that like yo dog, and all of us was old heads, like we all of age. Nobody thought Robert Guerrero was world class by the time Danny fought him. So what are you talking about? Nobody thought that shit.
You know
If
what?
you read,
But you
no, I'm gonna do you one better. You don't have to believe. You don't have to believe shit I say. The articles written at the time say the shit. They're like, this dude is washed. Danny fighting a washed dude for a vacant belt. That's what the article said.
I mean, I thought Robert Guerrero looked washed against Omar Figueroa. He didn't look washed against Danny Garcia. I don't know.
That talks about Danny Garcia.
In one of the fights, he goes the distance, and in the other one, he gets battered in 3. So,
my brother, that says more about Danny Garcia than it does Robert Guerrero, bro. Yep. That's what you're not understanding.
That's an accomplishment for Guerrero.
I'm gonna give you an example of what Alexis is talking about. Before Danny Garcia fought Errol Spence Jr., he fought Ivan Redkach. He could not dispatch Ivan Redkach, who had already been dispatched at 135 pounds. Ivan Redkach went 12 rounds with Danny, and that says more about Danny than it says about Ivan. But you're telling me that Danny was a solid win for Errol. No, he wasn't. Danny never beat nobody good at welterweight.
So this is what I'll say with Ivan Redkach, and the same thing that I'll say with Mario Barrios. Maybe at the lower weights, he sucks. The minute he starts getting more food in his belly,
so who did Ivan beat?
Ground.
So who did Ivan beat at welterweight?
He didn't beat nobody at welterweight.
Then why are you telling me this?
So what I'm trying to say is,
what you're trying to say is you don't have an argument because you just told me. You just told me if he get food in his belly, you just told me if you give him some hot pockets and some Tostitos or whatever, he gonna win. But he ain't beat nobody. When I asked you, yo, who he beat? Nobody. And all this go back to Danny. What solid welterweights did Danny beat?
Lamont Peterson.
Lamont Peterson was not a welterweight. They fought at a catchweight. They was both moving up.
Okay, they was both moving up, but it wasn't under
welterweight regulations. Not a solid welterweight.
Hold on, was it under welterweight rankings or 140 rankings?
It was under welterweight rankings because it was above 140.
And why? Because it's above 140. Exactly. So how you gonna discredit Lamont Peterson when he fought Danny when Lamont just beat David Avanesian?
He didn't just beat David Avanesian when he fought Danny. That was afterwards. See, this is childish.
Is that a fact?
This is child. Look it up, bro. Go to BoxRec right now.
All right, hold on. Hopefully it doesn't drop, but let me check.
Bro, hopefully it drops.
You know who Avanesian was fighting at that time? Shane Mosley, and he beat him. That's who he was fighting at that time.
But this is I'm glad that we're doing this because this is a real illustration of your typical PBC fan.
Yes.
Disgraceful.
Now while you look that up, I'm gonna read the super chat. Vladdy V, bro, you wasting your breath with this dude's arguments. I lost a brain cell listening to his statements. Right. Drew says, hold on, let me go to Drew. Drew says they scaled the stadium down because ticket sales were below expectations and they slashed prices. They do that for most PBC shows. Country says, yo, Jules, even a broken clock is right twice in a 24-hour period. The guy can't even be right once in your discussion. Yo, country wildin'. Country is wildin'. Robert Navarro says Canelo went in Errol's backyard and blew Errol's numbers out. Yo, he blew the back out of Texas. He blew the whole of Texas's back out. Yeah, I mean, but we supposed to believe that Caleb is the reason it did 800,000. That's what we supposed to believe.
Oh,
Base is just smiling. Base is just smiling. He cooling. He just smiling. Standing 8 says, honestly, what is this dude on about? I dig it. Drew says, let me cook. All right, I got you, Drew. I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you cook right now. Bang. Go ahead, Drew. And I'm gonna just keep going through the super chats because it's a few of them that I didn't read.
My brother, you saying all this about Spence to say what? Really? When the majority of boxing trainers, boxing managers, ex-fighters, you can get half of them to agree that Crawford is an elite talent, one in a lifetime, one in a generation, pound for pound, 1 and 2 from Canelo. You can't get that many to say anything about that when it comes to Spence. So what are you trying to prove?
He's trying to prove that Sean Porter is really number 2 and Spence is lineal.
And Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is a Puerto Rican that don't speak Spanish. That is a journeyman at 147.
That's what he was.
Yeah, that's literally what he was.
How
He
long
was a
did it take?
journeyman.
How long did it take Usyk and Josh Taylor to become undisputed? Under 20 fights.
like
Errol
18
Spence has taken damn near a decade to fucking clean out one division. How is that elite? How is that great?
So you're just gonna dismiss the resume that Errol and who?
What resume?
What resume?
I
Okay,
just told you.
This is my initial
Danny
point.
Garcia
Okay,
has no elite win. If anything, his resume is Keith Thurman's leftovers.
Pretty much.
Keith Thurman never fought Kell Brook.
He fought Kell Brook after Triple G broke his face.
Okay, but was he battered goods?
He was bad.
He was battered goods.
Okay. So if he's battered goods, then why did he still fight 11 tough rounds with Errol?
It doesn't matter.
No. I got the answer. I have the answer. I have the answer. You just asked me, how is it that he was only able to go 5 with Triple G, but he was able to go 11 with Errol? It's simple. Errol's not that good.
Or he's just not that big of a puncher as Triple G.
He's not that good.
And let's
did you watch?
Listen. So wait. Let me go to your point. If you guys are saying that Kell Brook is battered goods because he got knocked out. I mean, not knocked out, but he got stopped in 5 rounds.
And his face got broke.
Fight 11 rounds with one of the perceived boogeymen at the time, because Errol was perceived the boogeyman. Even though people gave him that title, it wasn't like earned in the ring. He was still knocking the block off people.
What does any of that have to do with what I just said?
He still went 11 rounds with
because Errol's not that. Because one, Errol's not as big a puncher as Triple G. Exactly. 2, he's not as good as Triple G. Like, I'll say that outright. Is he a better boxer than Triple G? No,
absolutely not.
Because I'll make a bet right now that Errol's not going to still be here at 40 winning titles like Triple G.
No.
Hopefully he's not. Hopefully not. As Triple G.
I mean, he's not because he's not going to be able to.
Why?
Well, I'm pretty sure he can still be able to.
Triple G.
No, wait. All right. Here's another thing. You saying hopefully he's not. Triple G is out here getting more money than Spence. What he's doing better? He's doing better than Spence.
None of those arguments I'm trying to make.
He's doing better than like if we could. Hey, here's shit, yo. Errol wishes he could do the business that Triple G does. He wish. He getting money in Japan. He getting money in the UK. He about to get that Canelo money again. He already got it 2 times. He about to get it again. Who you think is more successful, Triple G or Errol Spence?
Let's just dead this real quick. if Errol Spence retires right now without fighting Crawford, he's not a Hall of Famer. If Crawford retires right now, he's a Hall of Famer.
Fact.
Yeah.
That's
you don't have, and I said this the last time we spoke, that you don't have to come to me to qualify it. The people that actually vote, like Rick Glacia, Michael Montero, they're on Twitter. Ask them. They'll tell you.
No. Okay, so let me ask you this: the only reason why Bud would be a Hall of Famer and Errol isn't, it's just because of accomplishments, not resume.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't. That's no. Let me say this. That is. Wait. Let me say this. That's wait. That's your opinion. And if you think that I care more about your opinion than mine, you're insane. The arguments you're making are insane. Like, it's insanity.
So you're saying that about Crawford? Do you think Deontay Wilder is a Hall of Famer?
Probably.
Ooh. I'm gonna say those 3 fights, those 3 legendary fights with Fury.
Those
get
aren't
into the Hall of
legendary
Fame.
fights,
They're
bro.
not
Those are
legendary
fucking-
fights
And why
not-
wouldn't they be legendary fights?
because they're not.
Because one
Oh,
guy
this-
got dominated 95% of the fight of all those rounds. That is not Ali Frazier back and forth.
No,
That's
Okay,
not Gaddy
I agree.
Ward.
It's
That's
not
yo.
Ali
Listen,
Ferreira
that's
Morales.
not even Ward
Right.
Augustus. That's
Again,
not even. That's not even Mickey Ward Emmanuel Augustus.
Mhm.
It's
That's
not Ali
not.
Frazier,
That's not
but that's
Foreman
still a
versus
modern-day
Ron
classic.
Lau.
Let
It's
me ask
not
you
on
this.
that level.
And those
Fury
fights
versus
don't.
Wilder,
Those are all
modern-day
losses,
classic.
bro. Those are all losses. So how does that make him Wilder a Hall of Famer?
Exactly. Stop
Look,
it.
check this out. Miguel Cotto,
Yeah.
right, and Sean
I don't even
Porter
like
have
Miguel
lost.
Cotto either.
Listen, check this out. Miguel Cotto and Sean Porter have lost mainly almost all of their significant fights. All right. I think Cotto just beat Margarito, but that was after Pacquiao beat the snot out of him. And then he beat a shot Sergio
So
Maravilla.
you're
Is
saying
Miguel
that Sean
Cotto, listen,
Porter,
is
so
Miguel
you're
Cotto
saying
a Hall of
Sean
Famer? He
Porter,
lost
you're
all his
saying
great fights.
Sean Porter, what you're saying, this is what you're doing. For those that can answer this question, answer me this question. How many divisions has Miguel Cotto been a champion in?
4,
Who knows the answer?
4
I
or
think
5.
I want
It's
to say
about
maybe
4 or
4.
5. It's about 4 or
yeah.
5. How many divisions has Sean Porter been a champion in?
1.
One.
You know that you could take the 2 pay-per. It don't even round out. Sean Porter's been on pay-per-view 2 times his whole career, and it was towards the end. One was the Errol Spence Jr. pay-per-view. I'm gonna round up. I'm gonna call it 4, even though it's not 4. I'll call it 4. Then I'm gonna take the the Crawford pay-per-view. Add that 530. In one fight, Miguel Cotto has sold more than the totality of Sean Porter's pay-per-views in one.
Was that against Pacquiao though?
No, I wasn't even thinking about Pacquiao. I was thinking about Canelo. Honestly, I was thinking about Canelo, to be real. But I could also bring in the one with
Mayweather.
Floyd. That was a
That's
great
to answer
fight
your
too.
question.
Yeah.
When
So
Cotto got announced,
no.
hold up.
So let me do this. Let me do this. You're using not famous fighters that are not famous and saying they go in the Hall of Fame. Do you realize how insane you sound? You realize that, right? You got to do something famous. I mean, that's the gist of it. You have to literally do something famous, like Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti's trilogy is famous because of the back and forth action. It's famous. It's immortalized.
Yep.
That's it.
There are no Sean Porter fights, and I love Sean, by the way.
I like
He's one of
Sean.
my favorite contemporary welterweights. He always was. But that's how I know this guy don't get in the hall.
He don't.
And to add to that, at this channel, we even have the belief that Tyson Fury is not a Hall of Famer just because he beat Wilder.
But he also beat Klitschko. What?
That's his best win.
Literally.
That
Wilder or
one win
Klitschko?
doesn't make you a Hall of
Klitschko.
Famer, bro.
Klitschko. Yeah, like that's like saying that would be like saying Sorung Visai is a Hall of Famer for Chocolatito.
Usyk
Really?
is a Hall of Famer under 20 fights. He's beat 6 champions, undisputed, unified at heavyweight.
Josh
That's a Hall of
Taylor's,
Fame resume.
Josh Taylor's,
Exception.
I'll tell you what, and this is the part that he doesn't like. Right now, because Scotland does not produce as many champions as America, right? And because Josh Taylor went undisputed as quickly as he did, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He is undisputed in the 4-belt era. Lineal
Yeah.
and Ring Magazine.
Yeah.
Errol Spence is
He's
not.
not.
You are just a unified champion.
Mhm.
After it's been 5 years since you won the IBF title in Sheffield. It's been 5 years. And I will add, and you're not going to like this, if he doesn't beat Crawford, he doesn't get in the hall. Literally, no, you won't. Not just for being a unified champion. MJ Akhmadaliyev's a unified champion. Artur
Everyone-
Beterbiev's a unified champion.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And
Jermel-
here's what Hall of Fame is. What George Kambosos has in front of him. If he beats Devin Haney and then he
Hall of
beats
Fame.
Lomachenko, he's a Hall of Famer.
Mhm.
Nah, I mean, really, this is the thing. George is already halfway there
Because it's in
because
the 4-belt era.
it's the
Yeah, it's
4-belt
just been
era,
the
and
4-belt
he
era.
got 3 of his belts. He got 3 of his belts in a fight he was widely favored to lose. Right? That's a good argument there.
Mhm.
If you beat Devin and you're undisputed, all right, now we cooking with like you up there. I ain't gonna say you Jeff Finnick or Thunder from down, but you
Yeah.
motherfucker,
You a
Yeah.
motherfucker.
And
Exactly right.
and that Lomachenko fight would be the cherry on top of a
That'd
career. He
be
could
the
retire
cherry.
after that.
Like he
Yeah,
could
but-
chill after that. See, you want us to act like Errol won already when he didn't. He didn't. You didn't beat Crawford. I don't know why you want to act like he you didn't beat Crawford. And then you sitting here with a straight face trying to say that, oh, I don't know if Crawford number 2 in the division could be Sean. I rated Sean.
Could
Like,
be
really?
Ugas. Could be Ugas.
Who rated Ugas? Who rated Ugas above Crawford besides you?
I'm not saying he's better than. I'm not saying Ugas is
You
better.
What
than
are
Bud,
you
What are you
saying? That
saying,
you had?
Sam?
Are you
Hurry up
saying?
now.
Are
But
you
I'm
saying? No,
trying to
I
say
need
this
to ask a question.
Yeah, my
Are you
picture-
saying that you had Ugas number 2 in the division?
I say his best win against Pacquiao.
That's
is
not
better-
what I asked you. I
All right,
asked
so
you.
to answer your
Did
question,
you have him number 2 in the division?
I'm gonna give it to
Just
Ugas at
answer the
147.
question.
Yup.
Yes or
I'm
no?
gonna give it to him. His resume at 147 is better than Bud's at 147.
How does that make sense when Bud beat the guy that beat Manny before Ugas beat Manny?
It stole the body of work. Again, he
What
went
body
to
of
all-
work?
let
Who did
me ask you this,
Ugas
Jordan.
beat? Who
Let me
did
go to
Ugas?
this point.
No. Enough.
Why did Pacquiao fight Jeff Horn in Australia?
Ugas lost to Sean Porter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crawford knocked out Sean Porter.
Yeah.
Ugas beat an old Manny years after Jeff beat an old Manny. Crawford beat Jeff, and you don't make sense.
I'm gonna say.
Okay, so check this out.
No,
Wouldn't you
I'm
say
not
the
checking
Jeff Horn-
anything out
Jeff
because I
Horn
asked you a
versus Manny
question.
Pacquiao?
I asked you a question that you still haven't answered. I
Yeah.
want the audio so that I can use it later and add sound effects of laughing and things. Did you have Ugas rated? Did you have him rated number 2 in the division above Crawford?
Yes,
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
You did, right? Say it louder.
Yes, sir.
Then you're insane.
So let me ask you. Let me say why. Let me state why.
I don't need to know why. That's
Would
not.
you
There's no
say-
logic in that. There's no
Let me
logic
ask
at all
you
in
this.
that.
Well, there is
Your
there-
best
there's-
win.
there's some sense.
Your best win is Manny, correct? You know who beat Manny before you? Jeff.
Crawford.
You know who beat Jeff in one-sided fashion and didn't break a
Crawford.
sweat? Crawford.
Mhm.
Right, I would agree. But
It's not for you to agree. It's a fact.
No,
Facts.
right. Context though was
What
do
context?
many
If
people
you're gonna tell,
perceive
if you're gonna tell me
Pacquiao versus
context,
Jeff Horn
if
as
you're
a
gonna
robbery?
tell me context,
Whoa, whoa,
here's
whoa, whoa, whoa.
context.
Dude,
No. If you're gonna tell me context, here's context. Ugas beat a Manny Pacquiao that was older than the Manny Pacquiao Jeff Horn fought. That's one. More inactive than the Manny Pacquiao Jeff Horn fought. That's context. He hadn't fought in 2.5 years.
Mhm.
That's context. You don't know what context is, and you just
Yeah,
sat
absolutely.
here. You just sat here and told people in your rating system, whatever it is, you ranked Ugas. You ranked Ugas number 2 in the division.
Oh, use my
Why?
laugh for the sound
Context.
effects because I'm dying
Do
right
many
now.
people
I'm
perceive
fucking
that Jeff
dying
Horn
right
versus
now.
Pacquiao
No,
robbery?
I ain't got the
Oh
patience.
shit!
Hey,
Youngin,
Jules,
I can't
would you
deal
say
with
Take
it.
that
that
Manny
porn
Pacquiao-
bot out. What
Jules,
porn bot? Let me.
I can't cope. I can't fucking cope.
No, because I'm getting the playback. Listen, the playback that I'm gonna get from this, I'm gonna make so much fucking money off this guy. It's not even funny.
Real quick, I wanna help the brother. I want to help him.
Oh, leave
My
it.
bro, you need to start watching a little bit more boxing from 100 from like all the weight divisions. Get on YouTube, watch the old fights, and don't put no sound on when you watching. Just watch.
Yo, look, I wanted. Listen, I wanted to talk about. I wanted to find time to talk about tomorrow's fight.
Please talk about it still. Please.
But
Phil.
no,
Wait.
because he-
Because you
because
guys
he
don't
wanna-
ever let me rebuttal and let me put context.
There is no listen.
Whoa,
Listen.
whoa, whoa,
Let me help.
let me-
Let
I
me
think that-
help you. Let me help
Yes,
you.
sir.
Listen. Let me help you. There is no ranking anywhere on planet Earth aside from you. There's no rank standings anywhere on this planet, in this solar system, in this quadrant of the universe where anyone rated Ugas number 2 in the division.
You a liar,
except
man. Yeah,
you.
you're fucking lying.
Like it's nuts. You're willing. You think? See, I got you. Look, you think that because you're willing to say anything that it's actually a rebuttal. When all you're doing, all I gotta do is let you talk, and you go do it to yourself. You sound insane, literally, and you don't hear it right now because you're saying it. But when it plays back and people hear you say that, yeah, I had Ugas ranked number 2. Nah, Sean Porter was for the lineal. When you hear that back, it's not gonna settle in just yet. You're gonna need a week, then a month, then a year, and you'll realize in a year, like, damn,
When
I was
he's
really
30,
I was really fucking up. Like I said, Sean Porter was number 2 in the division.
I got a bone to pick with you though, Jules. You
Go ahead.
fucking suckered me in, and I'm fucking buying that fucking fight tomorrow,
I'm
man.
buying it too,
Fuck.
bro. Because I gotta support my man. Win or lose, I'm gonna support my
I
guy.
know. I didn't want. I'm like on principle. I'm like, why do I gotta pay more than Lady Chan?
Look. I don't even. I'm probably not even gonna listen. Facts. Real facts. I'm probably not even gonna watch the undercard and just go live for the ring walk in the main event. I might
exactly.
Same, Jules,
because.
same.
But I got to. That's my man. I gotta see this. I done been on this roller coaster with the WBC with him, and we gonna rock out. B. I just want to see a good fight.
Yeah.
But back to Ugas being number 2 in the division. Yo, you know what the thing about these kids is? They think that because they're willing to say anything, that like everybody gonna be stuck. No, we're gonna laugh, and then we're gonna play it back, and then we're gonna laugh again. And then a year from now, yo, you remember when the dude said, yeah, Ugas was number 2 for beating the whole package. So if Ugas was number 2, I can only assume that Jeff Horn was number 1. Because here's what the ranks actually were at the time. At that time, right before Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn, Tim Bradley, the consensus number 3 in the division, he had vacated his WBO title, which went to Jesse Vargas. Manny won it from Jesse, and then I believe he fought Tim for a third time. He won a fight.
Yeah.
He fought him third time, won a fight. He fights Jeff Horn. Now, Manny at this time is number 1. He is number 1. And Jeff beat Manny, right? So what does that make Jeff? He was number 1. He was number 1. And then who came along and beat the brakes off for Jeff? Crawford. And that was years ago. That's not like it wasn't last year or the year before that. That was years ago. But you telling me because Ugas, many years later, many moons, many bowls of soup, many morning logs later, he fights an older, less active Manny Pacquiao.
Jumping recess, Manny Pacquiao.
Literally, he was labeled inactive by BoxRec for having having not fought in 2.5 years. His title was taken from him. Yeah. That's how long you've been gone.
He got stripped.
He got stripped. And this is your qualification for Ugas being number 2. And then you want to tell me context.
Yeah, boy, bye.
All right, so I'll say this. Do many perceive Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao as a robbery?
Their perceptions, I mean, like you perceive Ugas as number 2 in the division. Perceptions don't matter.
Yeah.
Because Manny beat Keith Thurman.
Perceptions don't matter. Like you perceive
perception
Ugas
matters.
No, it doesn't, because you perceive Ugas to be number 2, even though in reality, no one rated him there. That's your perception.
But no, what I had originally said is, why does Terrence Crawford automatically become a what he at 147, the number 2, just because of what he did at the lower weight class?
No, nobody said that. Nobody said that. You're only saying that Danny was solid based on what he did to guys at a lower weight. Your argument collapses on itself because you use that against Terrence Crawford, but at the same time try to qualify Danny Garcia as a good fighter, even though the only good fights he won were at the lower weights. He beat no one solid at welterweight. No one. Every solid welterweight he fought beat him.
Lost, yeah.
Every single one.
And Thurman went life and death with Mario Barrios. What's your point?
Here's the funny part. I'll ask you a question. When Manny came out in round 1 with Jeff Horn, did he drop him the way he dropped Keith Thurman? Was he complaining to the ref with Thurman the way he was complaining to the ref with Jeff? You didn't watch that fight. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I know you didn't watch that fight.
Why you say that?
I know you didn't, because that whole fight, Manny was doing old man shit.
Yeah.
complaining to the ref. He
Yeah.
hitting me on the head, ref.
Because he
Hitting
was.
me on the head,
Jeff
ref.
Horn
It's
tossed
not
him
the
to the
point.
ground.
Was he doing that to
elbowing
Thurman?
him.
Was he doing that to
smothering them.
Thurman?
He
Was he
clinching
doing
them.
that to Thurman? With Thurman, was he doing that? He actually did an Ali shuffle with Thurman, literally in like
right
round
after
7,
like the
8.
first or the third round. I remember all this, bro. I seen all this, bro.
And you still rank Ugas at number 2. That's
because let me explain to you why. Okay,
nah,
so
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to know. I don't need to know that. I don't
Okay,
because
so
reality. See, this is what you're out of touch with. Reality.
You never let me finish
No,
my point.
because your point. You're not making a point. Your point is to try to get as far
away.
away.
Cutting me
Your
off.
point is to get as far away from reality as possible. I deal in reality. I don't deal in make believe. I deal in reality. You deal in make
with numbers.
No, I deal in reality. Reality. Jeff beat Manny before Ugas, and he beat a younger Manny before Ugas, and he beat a champion before Ugas. Ugas did not beat a champion because he was elevated to champion, and Manny was stripped for inactivity. All of that is reality. You want to get away from that. No, you're not getting away from it because we don't deal in fantasy.
Okay, so
reality. No more reality. No, not TBRB, not ESPN, not BoxRec, not whatever that zone shit is, that other no divisional rank standing on planet Earth ranked Ugas as number 2 in the division. Not a single one.
This is what I'll say. When Jeff Horn fought Pacquiao and Pacquiao fought Ugas, who is coming off a better victory? Is it Jesse Vargas or Keith Thurman? Who's the better champion at 147?
Who was a better champion at 147, Jesse Vargas or Ugas? Jesse Vargas.
No, Jesse Vargas or Keith Thurman. Because that's who they fought after Pacquiao. Jeff Horn fought Pacquiao.
Wait a minute, what happened to the context? So you're just gonna remove
the
2
I'm
years
gonna
that
give
he
you
was
the
out?
2 years of a hiatus.
No, you're not, because you just told me he was coming off. What's the span of time between Thurman and Ugas? What's the span of time?
July 2019 was.
It's 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
Was that?
How old was Manny when he fought Ugas? 42.
40.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I just want to check this. Help me out here, guys. Did Manny retire right after he fought Ugas?
Yes.
So what does that tell you?
That means he got beat. Time to say.
No, what does that tell? I'm gonna ask a different question.
Time to hang it up. That's what that means.
The Leonard that Camacho beat.
Yeah.
Is that the same Leonard that Duran beat?
Nope.
Obviously not. But you want to remove all the context and inject it when it's convenient.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You'll say context. He beat Thurman. Then take out the context that he was literally inactive. He was literally a champion in recess. He hadn't fought like he's 42. You don't make sense. And
I'm gonna get to those.
No. More important.
But you don't let me get to them
because I've heard you, dog. Everything you say isn't based on reality. It's based in feelings. You feel that Ugas should have been number 2, but that's not reality.
I agree. I would agree.
It's not for you
on that
it's
statement.
Reality. It's reality. In your mind, you're trying to qualify Sean Porter versus Errol Spence Valenio. Reality is nobody did that. Just you.
Should have been 2 belts on the line.
But it wasn't.
Should have been 2 belts on the line.
But it was.
Number 1 versus number 2.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If my aunt had a dick, she beat my uncle. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
But she could have been your uncle, though.
But she's not.
Unless you call her uncle over auntie.
She's not. Like you don't realize that you sound like an insane person.
It's insane.
All right, so
like insane.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to this point. You say I'm gonna give you context. So Manny, you can either say that he was inactive for 2 years, or he was taking and being well rested after a hard fight with Thurman.
Move along. Yeah, move along.
He was inactive.
No.
We're not. No. Inactive means you haven't been fighting. It doesn't mean that you had a sauna. It means you haven't been fighting.
Bro.
Right.
That's what it means.
But does not
Now
mean
you brought
have
up
not been
Triple
trained.
G. You brought up Triple G. Do
Right.
you know that the guy that he fought was more inactive than him?
Okay, but Keith Thurman was also very inactive at the time.
And he lost.
Right. Like Murata lost. So my point that I was making
So inactivity also, so you see that inactivity, generally speaking, for an athlete, isn't a good thing.
It depends. If you're injured or coming off a war, etc., or a detached retina,
Then he
or
was
ejected, etc.
Manny was coming off a war.
I mean, for a 40-year-old coming off that fight with Keith Thurman, I
You
wouldn't say it's a war, but I would say it was a
listen,
battle.
bro. I know you think you sound good saying this stuff. I
Someone's
can't
mic
wait.
crackling.
I can't wait for the playback. Yo, who mic is that?
Whose mic's doing that? I'm mute.
I can't wait for the playback because I am gonna make so much just advertising revenue off of it. It's nuts. You really think you sound like you're making salient points?
Okay, so would you say that?
No, I wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't say
I literally no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't because the truth is Sean wasn't number 2 in the division. I didn't rate him as. Hey, Lady Chan, did you rate Sean number 2 in the division?
Is the WBC a more
I
prestigious
gotta ask.
belt
I
than the
gotta.
WBO?
Your name's not Lady Shan. No.
I don't know what that. I don't even know what kind of question that
Is
is.
the WBC
Lady Chan.
Yeah.
Lady Chan.
Yeah.
Did you rate Sean Porter as number 2 in the division?
No. Never.
What about Ugas?
Never.
All right, let me ask Drew. Let me see if Drew's still here. Drew, you there, Drew?
Did I rank Porter what?
Did you rank Sean Porter number 2 in the division?
Never.
What about Ugas?
No, even though I picked him, no.
All right. Let me go to Villain. Villain, you there, Villain? Ah, shit, Villain fell asleep. All right, I'm gonna go to Country. Country, are you there, Country? You with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, Country, I got a question. Did you rate Ugas number 2 in the division?
Oh, hell no.
What about? All right, wait. What about Sean Porter?
No, man. I mean, Sean Porter was up there, but I didn't rate him number 2.
Not number
man.
2.
All right, Leo, you talk to me, Leo, and Chile, and these mountains, talk to me. Did you rate Yordenis Ugas number 2 in the division?
Jules, why don't we just elevate him to number 1? Number 1.
Fuck it.
Let's call him 1.
No matter. Fuck it.
Julius, can I say something, please?
Go ahead. Nobody say nothing. Everybody mute your mics.
Dios mío. Can I say something? Okay. And this is the thing. You say it yourself, Julius. Ricky, I respect Ricky. I said before, at least is being polite. He's trying to make a conversation. But look, the reason why I and most of the guys in the panel and Julius are not a fan of Errol Spence is because we like boxing. We don't have time for this guy. Really, there are guys like the Tarzan Tornado unified in 1 year.
Yeah.
We have Terence Crawford. We have Inoue. We have Usyk. This guy has 5 years trying to
5
unify.
years, bro.
Look. This is the thing. How much time you've been complaining about the Terence Crawford fight versus Errol Spence not happening, Julius? How much?
About 4 years, bro.
4 years.
4 years.
Look, this is a PVC plan that makes sense. Fuck Terence Crawford. Fuck him. Okay, fuck him. Out of the picture. Totally. You fight in a row. You fight Porter. You fight Keith Thurman. You fight Danny Garcia. You fight some of these contenders. Fuck that WBO belt.
Mm-hmm.
Then Errol Spence says, "Okay, I'm going to move up to super welterweight. I'm gonna get belts there. Win, lose or draw, Julius will be complaining again because he docked Terence Crawford. But you will be giving him his credit for trying to be great, for trying to be a real pound-for-pound fighter. And then if he wins, fuck it, go to middleweight.
Yeah.
Go fight Charlo. Do it. But I cannot with this drug ass, no personality guy. Dude, if you're that good, If you are that good, prove it already.
Yeah, because you haven't.
Or lose your all to give it to someone else. Give your record to someone else.
Because look, this is the worst part about Errol Spence Jr. He's intended to be the biggest name in the welterweight division. So let's evaluate this from a boxing perspective compared to the biggest names at other weight. The biggest name in boxing fought about 3-4 times in the span of 11 months. Errol Spence as a champion has fought 2 times in 2 years. Yep. Right? That's not good for boxing. You're literally not even fighting, and you're intended to be the biggest name in the welterweight division, which really isn't all that big at all because look at what your numbers are. They're actually down. Ricky don't like to hear that, but am I lying when I'm not? They're down, bro.
He's right along the lines of Gary Russell Jr. once a year, man. It was like
real shit, real motherfucking shit, real motherfucking shit.
Let me say this real quick. You know, Ricky, you're probably a good dude and all, you know, but man, you circle around too much. And you always try to justify Spence no matter what. That's why people ain't taking you seriously, dude.
Well, you can't. You know what he was going to try to say? He was going to try to say, this is where he was going to try to go with it. He was going to try to say that the WBC is more prestigious than the WBO, so that makes Sean Porter number 2 in the division. That's what he was going to try to say.
All right, hold on. Before
I got to ask Jay. Wait, I didn't get to ask Jay. I got to ask Jay. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Jay.
Did you rate you guys number 2 in the division?
You're making his brain hurt, man.
I mean, wait. Oh, Ricky, you had your time. Let somebody else go. Thank you. I'm nearly 3 hours of it again. But anyway, but anyway, okay. I mean, Jules, he said, okay. I was going back and forth with him in the comments. He says that I asked him a question. He didn't answer it, by the way. I asked him, how is Errol Spence Jr. have a better resume when he's not undisputed? Josh Taylor isn't. It took him less time to do it than Errol's been a champion. Then he goes, Josh Taylor fought 2 champions. And I'm like, well, no, he didn't. And then he says, and then he says, homie, those matches with Spence that he fought the other champs, those were unification matches. Hey, fellas, everybody on the panel, what fights would Josh Taylor had with Prograis, Ramirez, and Barenchik? What fights with Taylor?
Unification.
Yep. Sounds like unification.
Homie Ricky, like your obsession with Spence is not healthy. You need to find something else to do.
Well, can I call a spade a spade? Let me call a spade real quick, right?
Let
me call a spade right quick, right? This is the truth because this is reality and this is the truth. Josh Taylor wasn't the A side to nobody, but he still got it done faster than Spence because he's better than Spence. It's the truth. Usyk got it done faster than Spence because he's better than Spence.
Because they're willing to sacrifice.
No,
sorry.
no.
It is. No, it is. No, yes, it is. It is true. You know why it's true? Because Errol Spence, unlike them, had a major promoter behind him for his undisputed campaign. Usyk didn't have a major promoter behind him for his undisputed campaign. Neither did Josh Taylor. He was with fucking Cyclone Promotions. He was with Cyclone Promotions. Yeah. He had to get the first 2 belts with a little promotional outfit. Then he got with Top Rank. Then he fought Ramirez. Yeah. But like Spence, you supposed to be the A side. You right. Most of the belts been on your side of the street, and it's still taking you 4 or 5 fucking years to get them.
Let me give you the distinction why that happened, though.
Oh God!
I don't need you to recap. I don't need you to recap his car accident.
No, I'm not. No, wait. Before the car accident,
you chose to fight a lightweight. You chose to fight a lightweight instead of unifying titles. That's a fact.
Because Keith Thurman was holding the belt.
No, not because of Keith Thurman. Terrence Crawford was right there.
And what did he say? I could take the easy route and fight Sean Porter.
That's right, country. That's right, country.
Yep.
Right. Why would you fight a lightweight? Why fight a lightweight instead of fighting Crawford?
Because
right there, Ricky. Hold on, wait, Ricky. Hold on, wait, Ricky. The reckoning of Errol Spence is coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You got to give Ricky.
We first got to settle it first. They first got to settle it first.
You got to give Ricky credit. You got to give Ricky credit for one thing. His love for Spence is greater than my love for my wife. That is how much Spence will go in for him. That's the amount of love he has for him. That is love. That is true love.
I told y'all, Spencer's fan base. Something is just not right, because it's like, yo, you really trying to sell it. Nobody's buying it, right? You really trying to sell people on this panel that Ugas was number 2. No, he wasn't, and that's reality. Like, fuck opinions. That's reality, he wasn't. Neither was Sean Porter.
By the way, Ricky, question: what drugs do you do? Because I'm curious. Like he's a good stuff. I mean, I need something to escape the
No. Let's keep it respectful.
Right.
I'm not gonna call him. I'm not. You just like that. Listen, the main thing is that you seem to be smart enough to form sentences, but it's the sentences that you're forming. You really like forget everything that everybody else said. Because I don't even have to say it though. I'm going to, right? Ugas wasn't number 2 though. Everybody knows that.
Let me ask you this.
Wait. I'm not done, bro. Ugas wasn't number 2. So why are you trying to switch it? He wasn't number 2 though.
Let me ask you.
Forget the panel. No, you don't need to ask me. Was he number 2? Yes or no?
Based on the people that you
not
follow,
mine. No. Period. Nobody ranked him at number 2. Forget me. Forget my panel. ESPN didn't rank him at number 2. BoxRec didn't rank him at number 2. Nobody did. Forget everything I said. In the real world, no one but you ranked Ugas number 2.
Say it again, Jules.
No one but you ranked Ugas number 2. And that shit rhymed. Bars. Ooh, you gotta buy me a Coke.
Let me go to a couple of points. Right now, if we go to BoxRec or a lot of other areas, they have Terrence Crawford above Errol Spence right now. One guy has 3 belts, one guy has 1. They still have Bud ahead of Spence right now.
Do you know why? Because
of the same thing that you told me. It ain't based on resume. It's based on what he's done at the lower.
Nah, it's simple. It's something that you don't want to accept, but it's right in front of you. Errol is trying to do something that Terrence already did and then some.
Okay, but he did it with lesser competition.
That's according to you, not according to them.
Julius Ndongo is nowhere
that's
in the
according
class
to you.
of Kell Brook.
Bro, that's according to you, not according to them.
Let me
state some more facts. Let me state some more facts. Julius Ndongo, whether you like it or not,
is more accomplished than Kell Brook.
Yes,
but is he better than him?
What is that? How can you not be more? If you're more accomplished, that
Julius,
has to mean something.
That does more accomplished does not mean that you're better than him, bro.
So let me ask you a question.
He won that fight, beating Edward Chovanovsky with 1 punch in like the 1st or the 3rd round. It was.
Where was he when he did it? Where was he when he did it?
He probably wasn't even rated.
No, where was he when he did it? When he knocked out Troyanovsky, where were they?
What do you mean? Where were they?
Do you know where the fight took place?
Where are they located?
I actually don't remember. I just
remember
that
part.
I'll tell you where they were.
All right, go ahead.
They were in Russia. He beat Troyanovsky. In fact, whose mic is that? Whoever mic is crackling and crunching, muted. They were in Russia. They were in Russia.
Ndongo is better than Kell Brook. Are you really gonna say me that? It's Julius Ndongo because he's more accomplished than Danny Garcia.
Who did Kell Brook? All right. Once again. Don't ask me a rhetorical question. Don't expect me. No. Do not expect me to help your argument for you because you cannot.
What has Julius Ndongo done after the fact?
What has Kell Brook done after the fact? What has Kell Brook done? What has Kell Brook done? What has Kell Brook done after the fact? It's a two-way street.
He's still competing. He had
a Julius Ndongo
versus Terrence
Ndongo.
And he lost.
You PBC fans act like they give away belts like Skittles.
Listen, Jules.
Like they're not earned.
After Kell Brook got beat, he still went on to fight for another title, which was against Terrence Crawford.
What has got knocked out?
He got knocked out.
Getting knocked out by Crawford.
And he got knocked out. Here's what I know. Here's what I know. Here's what I know. But here is what I know. Here is what I know. Here is what I know. Julius Ndongo did something that Kell Brook never did, and they're both approaching retirement. When Julius Ndongo retires, he can say, I didn't just beat one champion, I beat two champions. And when I beat them emphatically. And when I beat them emphatically, I beat them where they live.
Yeah.
I beat Troyanovsky where he lives. I beat Ricky Burns where he lives. What can Kell Brooks say? That I fought Terrence and got knocked out?
And he was unified.
He's unified.
These
Knows
things
what I
don't
was
matter.
saying.
That the thing is, these facts do not matter to these fans, and that's
No,
what's so
you know what it is? No. Here's
Again.
what it is. Here's what it is. This is how his mind works. It matters that
mine
Errol.
doesn't work.
It matters that Errol is unified. It just doesn't matter that anybody else was
Everybody else is.
unified.
Yeah.
That's how his mind works.
That's
It
never my
matters.
point.
It matters. It matters that Errol got some unification matches, but when other people do it, oh no, it doesn't matter. And then he'll work in reverse and try to rationalize why, for some reason, beating Brook off a loss is magical. No, it's not.
Well, those are great losses. Didn't you know that?
Oh,
here we go. Here we
you
go
guys
with
just
the
going
elite
also furthermore in the Brook fight, you know Spence was losing the first half of that fight
Because
right?
I do know that, and because Kell Brook is a good fighter.
Or because Errol's not that good.
Not that good. Yeah.
Kell Brook is a fucking beast, dude. He was also
Didn't he
battling
just
and
get his
swelling up.
ass whooped?
Listen,
Didn't he just get his ass? Didn't he? Am I bugging, or did Kell not get his ass whooped right before that fight? Am I bugging?
Triple G.
You talk about context. You talk about context so much when it comes to pure bullshit, but when it comes to reality, you want to take the context out. The reality and the context is that Kell Brook was
reality.
Kell Brook was coming off a loss. He was coming off a loss and a massive weight cut. Anybody that knows anything about boxing knows that fluctuating in weight normally is not good for you. Let alone when you got your fucking ass whooped and your face broke.
That much weight, too. That's a lot of weight.
You and your panelists just agreed. Just because Julius is more accomplished than Kell Brook, he's a better fighter than Kell Brook. That's what you just said to me. Bro, you just said that right now.
What I'm saying is, you're telling me that Kell Brook is better than Julius, and I'm saying, okay, based on what? And you're not answering the question.
Relevant. Based after the fact that he gets beat,
bro. Derek Chisora has 11 losses and he's still relevant.
Yeah,
being relevant, like Gabe Rosado
is a punching bag. He's a punching bag and he's relevant. Does that make him a great fighter?
Derek Chisora beat Joseph Parker in the first fight.
But he officially didn't.
Officially, he didn't,
which
though.
Is why they had a rematch, fam. Which is why they have a rematch.
And then he just
Castaño beat Jermell Charlo in the first fight, which is
No,
why
he
they have a
didn't.
rematch.
Officially,
No, he didn't.
Not officially, no, he didn't.
Your feelings don't matter.
What's
Facts
wrong
are
with
facts.
I'm gonna let you know what I'm gonna do, everybody. I want y'all to take 5, and I'm gonna let Villain champ the shit for a second. Cause Villain, go ahead, Villain. You champ the shit for a second, and just cause everybody's a little tired, it's a little bit late, and like I can't make sense out of anything he's saying. Because
the thing is that it's coming from a biased vantage point, and that's the biggest problem you have to look at is when you're a fan of either a man or you are going to be a fan of a promotional company, then of course you're not going to look at what the reality is. Anytime you ever argue on Twitter or anytime you ever argue on Facebook, you're always talking about. You can tell who they like. You can base on it's the promotional company they like. Anytime you give them pure facts, if you give them past Olympic champions, if they've been undisputed, if they've been unified, if they won in multiple weight classes, nothing will matter if their feelings have more merit than the actual facts. And this is the same argument. This man for the last hour and a half, all he has done is argued about how he felt opposed to what the facts are. And you're never going to win an argument coming from feelings. It's always going to be one in facts, and that's the truth.
Yeah,
he's moving goalposts. He keeps moving goalposts. That's all he keeps doing.
No, because this is
what goalpost am I moving?
You're telling me that because you rank Ugas at number 2, that the rest of us are supposed to care, and we don't.
You're the only person on planet Earth who's ranking the guy at number 2. There's literally nobody else.
I'm ranking Sean Porter above.
Ugas doesn't even rank himself at number 2. He don't even rank himself that high.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with accepting the fact that somebody you like, either be a promotional company or a boxer you care for, can be worse than somebody else or lose. That is part of competition. Just because you feel a certain way does not change what the reality is. I love Bud Crawford. He's my favorite fighter. If he loses to to Spence, then what's going to happen is I'm going to say the better man won. I like this fighter, but that's what happened. I hope there's a rematch and he can come back. But I'm still not going to come on this. I'm not going to come on this panel and go, you know what? Bud Crawford's a better fighter. He's a better fighter. It doesn't matter. I got him number 1. Well, why is that? Well, that's how I feel. Well, he lost to Spence. That don't matter. The facts are the facts. That is what it is.
That's literally the definition of delusional. Like you out of touch with reality.
Yo.
Everybody mute your mics. Whoever got the crunchy crackle going on, Sawab, go ahead, bro.
Listen. Julius, do me one favor, please. One small favor.
What?
Please put that cock sign up.
No, I'm not going to do that. He's not a cuck, bro. Not a cuck, bro. I'm not going to do that.
Bro,
I'm not going to do that.
You're a cuck.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's a violation. I'm not going to do that.
Julius,
I've been listening to him for the past 6 hours. Yeah, you've been lecturing him, trying to make him understand, trying to give him everything is laid out on the table. All he's gonna do is gonna go eat his shit and have Spence dick in his mouth. That's all it is.
Come on, now don't do that. No, we're not that kind of show. This is not that kind of show.
One thing we have to say.
He's been respectful. Don't violate him. He's been respectful.
One thing I have to say is that you have to give Pretty Ricky his flowers, though, because he's coming on here and at least he's having a discussion. So at least give him credit for that. Delusional as he is, at least he's having a conversation.
Yeah, no. Let me champ this shit. Let me champ this shit. Nobody violate nobody on no. We better than that. In other words, he can have his stance. Whatever his stance is, I ain't going. That's another man at the other end of that. I'm not going to violate him because of boxing. Now, I will say that your boxing takes are delusional. I will say that they're like, you're delusional, bro. You're delusional.
Hey, Ricky, can I ask you a question, please? Can I ask you a question? Do you believe in the glove gate, the Fury glove gate, and the Lubin glove gate?
Oh, God. We're gonna be here for 3 hours.
We are. We really are. Here's the thing. Wait, to answer your question, I don't believe that because this is why. I box, and I know when you box, and depending on how the glove is distributed with the padding, you can slap. Tyson Fury likes to slap. All right, it is frowned upon to slap in boxing, but a lot of fighters do it. Now, here's the thing. I also don't believe it because of the commission. The commission, along with the training camp and your camp, can go to the locker room and examine the gloves, examine the padding. That's the only reason why I don't believe in Glovegate. Now, is Tyson Fury Is Tyson Fury doing illegal tactics against Wilder? Absolutely. You shouldn't be slapping because you can cut him with the lace of the glove and the tape. You shouldn't be leaning on him because clinching and putting your weight is
all right, but hold on. To that point, everybody chill out. He's not wrong, right? There's dirty boxing. It's an art form. Dirty boxing is an art form. A lot of like Josh Taylor, he got away with punching a lot of guys behind the ear at the hydro. He punched a lot of guys.
Judy, did you say punch him in the dick?
I'm with it. Punch him in the fucking dick. If the ref don't see it, it ain't happen. I'm with it. All I'm saying is if we're gonna bring it to light that Fury sometimes does things that are frowned upon, so does Wilder. A lot of his punches sail to the back of his opponent's heads, and the referees mysteriously never see it. Do you hear me crying about? No, it's all low, bro.
Which fight? Give me which fight he did that.
But it's ultimately the responsibility of the ref to call these things anyways.
That's why I'm not the one getting paid. I'm not that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what the referee for. And if the referee that's getting paid for it ain't gonna say nothing, I ain't gonna say it for free. Go ahead, man. Fight. Punch him in the goddamn dick, man. Fuck it. It's a fight. I love the dirty shit. I love Holyfield. Come in low, hit him with your head. I love it. God,
he was a master.
Julius,
of
that, it's a fight. Hold on. It's a fight, fellas. It's a fight. If you can get away with it, get away with it.
No, you're wrong.
Yes, it's a fight, bro. It's a fight. Do you know the history of boxing? But all that shit used to be legal when it's
not by the Queensberry rules. Since when?
London Pride.
No. I mean,
No,
boxing.
read the
Well,
rules, bro.
first and
If you're in
foremost.
the if you box in the
Hold on,
amateurs,
no,
they
wait.
teach you this shit.
Let me say this. In the history of boxing, right? In the history of boxing, there was boxing before the Queensberry rules. Postmodern boxing is all based around the Queensberry rules, but before the rules was made, yeah, all that grimy, crazy shit, all of that was regular, bro. All of that crazy, but we're talking about way
further. Boxing, there used to not be a winner till a man couldn't go on or he was stopped.
Yeah,
bro.
till he was incapacitated.
Right.
He was incapacitated.
But that does not mean I can lean on you. I can slap you. I can fucking.
It's a
throw
fight,
you
bro.
around and wrestle
I'm
you.
just
I gotta go, fellas. I got a hot chick waiting for me by the beach. Ricky, keep watching some more boxing, bro. But you're welcome back over here,
bro.
Yeah, like, he's not a bad. He's not a bad guy. He's not
man.
He's not a bad. Like, look. He's not a bad guy. Like, I can already tell he's not a bad guy because he never called nobody out their name, even though his views was challenged. He was mature enough to not call anybody, which I appreciate because you'd be surprised how many of these conversations go sideways. It's been fun, but reality, and this is where we differ, Ricky. I use facts for everything, bro. I don't go off of feelings because my favorite fighter is Terrence Crawford. But I don't rate him number one because of it, and I don't overrate him because of it. Yeah, and that's my favorite fighter. I'm not gonna put him ahead of somebody that deserves it because for me, that's what's wrong with the American media. That's what's wrong with it. Right. If the media that covers the sport does not issue the praise appropriately, the sport does suffer for it. You got Jermel Charlo, for example, ESPN bunch of. It's fucked up. Why? Look, y'all ranked Gennady Golovkin for having 3 belts. He wasn't even lineal and he wasn't Ring Magazine, but y'all ranked him for having 3 belts. Now, Jermel Charlo is lineal. He is Ring Magazine. He has 3 belts. Y'all won't give it to him. You say, oh, well, he had a controversial decision in Castaño, but he lost that fight. Hold on, but see, this is why I don't do that. Because there were people saying Golovkin lost the Jacobs fight. When you get to opinions, it's a free-for-all. I don't deal in opinions.
Triple G didn't get outlanded in that Danny Jacobs
It's not
fight.
It's not the point. It's not the point. You missing a point. There were people the same way you telling me that Castaño won the fight. Cool.
He did.
Hold on. That's how you feel. I could ask somebody else and get a different opinion. That's the same way there were people saying Jacobs beat Golovkin. And if I ask somebody else, that's not my view. I'm acknowledging that there were people after that fight, there were people saying, yeah, Jacobs did enough. There were. Even if I wasn't one of them, there still were people saying that. So I don't deal one at a time, bro. I don't deal in opinions. That's why. I don't deal in opinions.
Wait,
I'm trying to close it out. When I say that his numbers are down from the time he debuted on pay-per-view, there's no anecdotes. That's the truth. His numbers are down. They're not up. They're down. The amount of attendance is down. The amount of pay-per-views sold is down. It's all down. That's the first thing. When I say Ugas wasn't number 2, that's not my opinion. That's a fact. Sean Porter wasn't number 2. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. All of it is facts. I only deal in facts.
Julius, can I ask a question to Homer Ricky?
Good.
Ricky, do you practice professional boxing?
Not professional boxing, no.
Okay. Look, I haven't seen a professional boxing coach that doesn't teach his boxer dirty tactics. I haven't seen it.
That's
true. He doesn't ditch his boxer due to what was the thing? Dightness?
No, he said no. He said, in other words, what he's saying is in most boxing clubs, the point that he's making is in most boxing clubs, you're gonna learn some dirty boxing. It's a part of the sport.
Yeah.
It is. It's a part of the sport.
All
right, Ricky. Here's an example.
I would say
hold on, Ricky. Let me do this. you know that you're not supposed to hold. You know that you're not supposed to hold. But if you got a guy that he throwing a lot of shots and he's real good in the pocket, yeah, tie his ass up. You're not supposed to do that, but you still see it every fucking fight.
Of course, they
Almost
even
every other
encourage it.
fight.
They
Tie him
encourage
up.
it. You're tired. What do? Grab them. You got everybody encouraging that. It's
Right,
not
right, right.
rules,
But that's a
but they're
different
doing
situation.
it. Why is it different? It's a rule's a rule. What do you mean?
Let me tell you this.
Why do you get to choose
You are
when
allowed
and where
to
the rules
hold.
matter?
You're allowed to hold if you're in danger. You're not allowed to
In
hold
danger, you're
and then sucker
boxing.
punch and
But
then
you're in
lean
a
on them
fight,
and then
man.
throw
You're
them
in
to the ground.
danger automatically.
You're in danger the minute you walk in.
This is why it's different, because if I'm in a fight I can kick, I can headbutt, I can elbow. That's not
Not in a
boxing.
boxing match.
Yeah, you're in a boxing match. You are in danger. People die in the ring.
Ricky, that's the way.
Woohoo,
That may be the way.
boxing.
That may be the way you fight, but not
You
that
soft
may be
prick.
the way others fight.
Listen, man. Look, everybody got to chill because this is how it breaks down. And I got to go to sleep because I got to watch this god awful undercard tomorrow.
Hey, I'm
No, you don't. You don't have
I'm
to.
glad we discussed. I'm really glad we discussed White versus Fury. I'm glad we got to
I enjoyed the conversation. All right.
Yeah, me too.
I loved it, and I even made a special sticker that I wanted to use. You see that? Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm here.
That's cool.
Yep.
It's
we see
fucking
it.
dope,
There you
right?
go.
See that shit?
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. White versus Fury, right? Yo, we didn't even get to talk about this fight. I didn't get no prediction, so I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow before the fight during that shitty undercard.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm gonna say. Look, I want you to understand this, Ricky, right? Because I'm psychic, and I know you don't know that because maybe you're new to the channel, right? But Terrence Crawford is Achilles reborn. And nothing is going to save Errol Spence from that. That's the way it is. Like, he was endowed by the gods. By the gods, he was endowed. Like, Terrence Crawford ain't just a special fighter. That's a special creature. He's a special creature. And nothing that Errol does is going to help him. The only thing Errol has is volume, which is good. You got a gas tank to throw a lot of punches for a 12-round fight. That's actually an elite quality because not everybody could do that. But that's not going to save him, bro. He will never be undisputed. It won't happen, all right? And he's not going to get in the Hall of Fame. He'll lucky if he could get into the bathroom of fame, let alone the goddamn Hall. It's not going to happen, bro.
So
None
let
of
me
that is
tell
going to
you this.
happen.
Errol Spence throws more jabs than Bud Crawford.
Yeah, but
That's
they're
a
not as
fact.
accurate.
He
Yeah,
throws,
it's true.
like you said, he throws more volume.
But he doesn't
than
have
Spence
better
Crawford.
feet. He doesn't have better
Correct.
feet.
So that in and out herky jerky that Bud has,
It's
Errol
not in and
doesn't.
out.
Errol is
It's
just
not even in
traditional,
it. See that
up
this
and
is what I
down, no
mean.
special
This is what I
thing.
mean, bro. It's not in and out. It's
Yes,
bull
it is.
matador. It's
And
hooks.
it's not
It's
herky
pivots and
jerky.
shifts. It's hooks on like herky jerky is Huey Fury. That's herky
And
jerky.
Tyson Fury.
And Tyson
That's
Fury.
herky jerky.
Yeah.
With Crawford is the spirit of violence, bro. Like you can't see it because you don't have the power, and I can't help you, bro. Sean
He ain't
Porter,
fought nobody at 47.
bro, is he about to fight Spence, and that's why you mad?
He ain't
because
fought nobody at
see,
140.
hold on. See, this why
He
you
ain't
this
fought
why you
nobody at
really mad.
135.
Let me take the shit off. This why you mad. Nobody say nothing. At this point, it doesn't matter who he fought because he's about to fight Spence.
So
it doesn't matter. No, wait, enough. It doesn't matter who he didn't fight because who he about to fight is Spence. So you should be happy. You don't sound happy. I'm happy as shit. You telling me he didn't fight?
I'm happy as shit too.
No, you not. No, you not. No, you not.
No,
You're not happy. Be happy.
Believe it or not, I'm also a Bud Crawford fan.
No, you're not. You're not with the Crawford gang, bro. You're not Crawford gang. Crawford gang. You're not with the Crawford gang, bro. Right?
Wait, Ricky, hold on. I got a question, Ricky. Like, if Spence, well, he's gonna lose that fight, but if he loses that fight, will you give Crawford his props?
Oh, my bad. It's just this internet thing, man. Believe it or not, I am a Bud Crawford fan.
No chance.
Please
You just
mute
said,
that mic,
you just
man.
said
Very
he
bad.
didn't
I'm not
fight
a Josh
anybody.
Taylor fan, but I'm a Bud Crawford fan.
Ricky, now that you're back, let me ask you that question again. Like, all right, let's say Earl's gonna lose that fight. But, you hear me?
Go ahead.
Say that again.
Ask the question.
All
Sorry,
right.
what was that? I missed it.
All right, so when Earl loses that fight, will you give Bud his props?
It depends how he loses it.
Oh,
But I will give him if he beats
In
Oh,
other
there you
words,
go.
no.
There you
That
go.
means no.
There you go.
That means no. He's
How
not
he
going. We're
loses
not going to give
it?
him
What does that
credit.
even
There you go.
mean? How he
There you go.
loses
That's all I
it?
needed
Let
to
me
know. That's all I
explain.
needed
Let
to
me
know. That's all
explain.
I needed to know. Thank you.
No. Let me explain. If Bud beats
Just
him
say yes or
like
no.
by
Yes or no.
knockout.
Yes or no.
No. It's not, my answer is not no. It depends how he beats him. Because
Okay,
Listen,
well, if
listen.
he wins,
wait,
my
Y'all
I'll ask
arguing.
again.
See, this the thing. This the thing that y'all missing. This the
This
thing that
matters to
y'all
me.
missing. This the thing that y'all missing, right? We don't need to worry about how. We know how. He's going to
Stop
stop
it.
Harold. He's gonna
Okay,
stop him.
so I'll
That's
say
it.
this.
And that's it, bro. It's over. It's
No, so
over.
trip out.
It's
If Bud
upon
Crawford
us.
stops Errol Spence,
Please mute that mic. Is annoying, bro. Please,
I'm gonna
whoever
give
it
him
is.
his flowers. If Bud stops Spence, I'm gonna give him his flowers. But if Bud stops Spence, like Ugas rocked Spence in that third round when the ref said stop twice, I'm not gonna give it to him.
That's
That's
not
what
what,
it is.
what does
That's
it
not
matter?
gonna be. Well, that's well. Look, we ain't. Look.
And that can
Wow,
happen.
man.
Wow.
Listen, Errol gonna get stopped, bro. Like I know it hurts, and I understand. And look, I'm glad that Spence beat Ugas because now
Yeah.
the car's not an issue. The eye's not a. Nah, you went in there, you beat the fuck out of him, right? One sided, all throughout the shit. One side, you beat the fuck out. Great. So we know you still got it. Good, because Bud about to
No,
take it from you. He about to.
But
And
about
on
to take.
that
I
note,
gotta see
on
it. I
that
gotta see it.
note, I'm going to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
tired, and I gotta watch a
Have a good
Tyson
night,
Fury fight
everybody.
tomorrow.
You ain't gotta
This
watch
was a
that because Tyson about to fuck him up. You ain't gotta
this
watch that.
was
He
a
gonna beat him up.
trying
Yeah, we'll
one,
Bro, I
see.
don't
man.
even.
We'll see.
We'll see. You know, what I mean, I
We'll
just want
see.
to see a good fight. It ain't even that. I just want to
It
see a
won't
good
even
fight.
be. It might be a good fight. I won't say that. It might be a
By the
good
way,
fight.
by the way, Ricky, I'd like to apologize to you about that drug comment. That was classless. You didn't insult me, so my apologies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Bring
Look,
out Q
Yeah.
as a
Apologize.
place.
look, man.
Bring
Yeah,
out
It's
Q as
fine.
a place for love and friendship, and watch his sense get his ass beat. You
But
know,
not
so.
stupid takes, though.
It ain't gonna
Not
happen.
Yeah.
stupid
It ain't gonna
takes.
happen.
All right, so now I'm going to bed, y'all. Be easy,
You
everybody.
can't
You know,
sleep, man.
Night,
I got
night.
night.
He's
I'm
thinking
out.
about